got a notification.
All right, notifications. Ooh, there's a reverb.
That was my
Reverb.
But yes, when you guys go to see it, stay through the credits, and even past the credits.
What? Come on.
Yeah.
Steven Smith marveled up his movie? No.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that someone commented, and I'm like, Marvel trained us. Like, I'll stay at the end of the movies, even if it's not a Marvel movie now, just because I'm like, knowing my luck, I'm gonna miss something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got 4 people in the chat room.
People in the room.
Welcome to 5 people. Welcome to the last watch along for Andor August and then some. We are watching Rogue One tonight. My name is Spencer. I am one of your hosts for the evening. Our producer is Dave. How are you, sir?
Hey, doing well.
And also we got Senor Jefe. How are you, sir?
Good.
We're going to be joined by the Rebels Revisited crew in a few minutes, who are going to slap some lipstick on this pig and class this joint up. I had a conversation earlier this week and with them. They're like, "Oh, so thank you very much for stepping in for us on Monday." I'm like, "Well, it kind of turned into a shenanigans fest, so we're looking forward to you guys coming in and making us look good this time." So that's gonna be pretty awesome. For those who did, hey Lila, how are you? Those who were chatting earlier heard me actually a little talking about Clerks 3, which is pretty damn awesome, and some incredible Star Wars references that were not part of the original Clerks. So so they add some stuff in there.
You got to go with which ones then, because there were plenty of Star Wars references in the original.
Oh yeah, Clerks. And they talk about all that stuff, but they add some Mandalorianisms throughout it. They and it's a great one. I don't want to ruin, spoiler alert you. But also make fun of Nomad Hobbit Luke from Last Jedi. So they make fun of that as well. And just a whole bunch of stuff, but it's absolutely worth going to see. It's it's fun. It rips at your heart. So bring tissues with you. I didn't expect to cry as much, but anyway, Dave, you had some notes about tonight.
We're watching Rogue One. It's a good movie.
But if we start lagging.
Oh, that I was like, what are you talking about?
You know what?
So we are broadcasting
a preemptive speech about before we start.
We're broadcasting live on the Virtual Cantina Network and on Facebook. But this is kind of a long movie, and we're going to have a lot of people on the Zoom. So if we start lagging a little bit on the Facebook, I'm watching the metrics, and if we start slowing it down, I'll probably kill the YouTube stream and just
comes the man
it later. Yes.
Mark Von Olin has arrived.
What?
Hello.
Hello,
everyone.
How you doing?
Well, welcome,
Hi.
Mark. To
We're already live.
We're already live. Well, welcome to the last watch along of the Andor August and then some series. I can't believe we're finally here.
Yeah, same. We haven't started the movie, right? We're still in preview time. All right, perfect.
Until 7 before we start, 10-year time before we start.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was running a little bit late. I actually wasn't feeling well today, and I actually called in sick to work because I was not feeling great. But I'm feeling a lot better now, and I was like, I already missed Monday. Let me jump into this, and then get some sleep. I slept most of the day, so it's like, all right, I feel better now.
That's good. Hopefully
How are you guys all doing?
Good.
Excellent.
Ready to see this
so
movie.
Tonight,
I saw it a couple weeks
doing
ago.
Doing well. Yeah, me too. Very, very excited. Also tonight, as of right now, there are people lining up at the El Capitan in Hollywood for the actual premiere of Andor.
That's cool.
Hollywood Boulevard is a flutter.
Yep. So it's pretty awesome that we are 1 week away from the newest Star Wars property going live on Disney Plus. And we're gonna have that, and then towards the end of next month, we are going to be having Tales of the Jedi as well. So we're gonna have some good overlapping Star Wars content over the next month and two, which will be pretty good. Following this show, we are going to release a schedule for a watch along of Andor, which kicks off actually next week. So, Jeff, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we're going to break it up as we normally do, is into digestible chunks. Even though there's a 3-episode starting arc, we're going to go break that into 2 episodes and 2 episodes the following week with the episode that will have just dropped, so we can spread it out over a nice handful of weeks leading up to Thanksgiving, when the day before Thanksgiving we're going to move the watch along from Thursday to Wednesday, the day it drops, and kind of get it over with right before Thanksgiving, so we can all talk about it with our relatives who will give an F unless they're cool on Thanksgiving. So that we have that coming up, and it's going to take up a good chunk of time over the next couple of months.
Very exciting. It's always nice to have that. And then obviously we got a whole bunch of other stuff that we can do as fillers later on between Light and Magic, and also potentially watching a Jedi's Journey, which I have to say, for those who did not see it yet, it has the ultimate mid-credit scene, better than Megan Thee Stallion twerking with She-Hulk, of scenes from Celebration. And how many of our family members have cameos during the Celebration scenes in that? Did anybody else do a head count?
Oh, we're gonna have to watch that like frame by frame.
Yeah.
Start, looking for people, because I'm looking at like a lot of the lines, and they're interviewing people casually, and I'm going like, wait, could I be in there? Because I was like right behind that post. I was right there.
I know there's some wide shots that I'm likely kind of in the shadows for, but it's all good.
So I have a question for everybody. Does Ben Kenobi know you raid his wardrobe? That was a very interesting teaser that popped up on the VCN this week.
Saying if you mess with the bantha, you're gonna get the horns.
Yes.
Our Breakfast Club awesome. Teaser.
Yes. So very exciting stuff going on over here. We haven't had it in a while, but Mark, what's up in the Ruby's rollout area?
Oh boy. What have we got that's going on? Well, we're nearing the end of the quarter, so all the stuff for Q3 is like rolling in slowly but surely. The Jango Fett helmet went out, which was great. People seem to really like that one. All 3 of our clone troopers have landed, so we just sent out an email about the clone trooper Weathered. The clean starts shipping tomorrow, and then the 501st version goes out a little bit later this month. And then what else is on the docket? Q4 is right. Oh, New York Comic Con's right around the corner. So we're getting ready for New York Comic Con, which we'll be announcing details on really soon. And we'll have a helmet to debut there. And then Imperial officer uniforms are on the way, and the badges. So your full Imperial officer uniform look, including uniforms and badges, are coming really soon. So it's a lot landing right now. It's kind of crazy tracking shipping containers like daily.
No, absolutely. Very, very, very exciting. And the lineup for Rhode Island's great, especially since they just added Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, I didn't see that. When did that come out?
In the last week, they announced a Back to Future reunion.
I fully missed that. I have to. I have not been keeping up. But it's I need to. I'm definitely going to Rhode Island. I'm very excited about that.
So is Dave.
I am. I have bought my tickets for Rhode Island already.
So very, very excited. That's gonna be a great show. Always a lot of fun. That's obviously gonna be my last show for the con season to get ready for. You go ahead, Sergeant Slaughter. Yes.
I saw he was announced.
Yeah,
Sergeant Slaughter will be there.
So he was announced. Team Bestie was announced.
Oh, okay.
Bret Hart was announced.
Oh,
and they
I would like to meet him.
And they announced MJF today.
Really? I would meet him. I like AEW a lot and I love MJF. He's a great character. I met Lita years ago, but I've never met Trish. But Trish's line, I think at Rhode Island years ago, like wrapped around the block. But I would definitely meet MJF.
So they're good, and obviously Sarge, which Dave is very excited about, especially since Hasbro and Funko just came up with 2 new Sergeant Slaughter figures in the last couple of weeks. So
the Hasbro is already on the way. I can't wait. I think it's October 7th is when the Funko drops.
Awesome.
That would be in line with New York Comic Con. That makes sense.
So a lot of good stuff, a lot of good figures coming out, except for those Snowman Star Wars figures, which are absolutely horrendous.
Which ones are these?
They made Star Wars Funkos that are snowmen.
So imagine if you crossed Darth Vader and Olaf.
Yeah.
Oh.
And go.
All right, I got to look that up. I don't know what Twitter I've been following, but I fully missed that. There's so much news now. I was having this conversation with someone that the glut of content has made it hard to keep up with everything, especially right now. There seems to be a lot on air, right? Like I just watched She-Hulk, which I love that show, by the way. I think it's very different than everything else Marvel is doing. It's silly, stupid fun.
This week.
Have you noticed David Otunga in the last couple of episodes?
And he's by the way, he returns for this one. Not to spoil anything, but
I know. I watched. That's why
I know Dave said he didn't. I don't want to spoil anything. It's a Titania heavy episode, including a different opening graphic because of her. So it's a great episode. It's very Jamila heavy, and I love her from The Good Place. I know she's like weirdly problematic in some ways, but also like I think she's fully self-aware to the fact that she knows she's improving every day. And I love her. Like, so I have no problems with Jamila Jamil. And I don't know why anyone really would, but she's terrific and she's great in this show.
How about that Easter egg at the end of the episode?
I didn't realize what it was at first because I gave it a quick glance and then I watched the wraparound content and I was told what it was and I rewatched it and I was like, oh, I didn't recognize it because of the color. So great. So, but we know that's coming. They're leading the breadcrumbs to us, and who's going to be there. So I'm not watching Rings of Power, but I hear that's good. And then there's what the hell else is on? There's something else that people are screaming about.
Or the Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, House of Dragons, right? So House of Dragons. I haven't watched. Rings of Power I haven't watched. I love Sandman. I hear it might not get a season 2. And this is why it's like, why do I watch this stuff? Why do I tune in and then they're just going to take it from me? So I'm waiting. I'm going to wait for a season 2 confirmation before I even commit to a Rings of Power, honestly.
You need to watch Orville. All 3 seasons are on Disney Plus now. And hashtag renew the Orville and make Slow 2 happen. Anyway,
and don't you forget about me.
Don't you forget about me. Exactly. So we're about 8 minutes out. Ashley's on her way back from seeing Clerks 3, so she'll be on very shortly.
I forgot that came out too. I only remembered when Ashley texted.
It's good. I went last night.
Yeah, I should have went last night.
I'm gonna go see not Maxine, Pearl tomorrow night, the second chapter in the X trilogy. So it's a horror movie. X, did you guys see that from earlier in the year? I think it's an A24 release. Set in the 1970s, they're shooting an adult film. A slasher happens. The old woman in the movie, and it has a backstory that's really interesting. They're doing a prequel called Pearl that comes out tomorrow, and then they already announced the third part in the trilogy called Maxine, which will be a sequel to the prequel, so the middle chapter. So they're doing a 3-1-2 as structure. And I'm in. The first X was incredible. If anyone loves horror, and spooky season is almost upon us. And I can tell you at Ruby's, like it is Halloween since like Labor Day. We're in the thick of it. Pearl comes out this weekend, so I don't know if you need to see X to enjoy Pearl, but that's my only movie on the docket right now.
Excellent. So yeah, so we got that, and then also we're gearing up because the next big movie to look forward to is going to be Wakanda Forever.
Mm-hmm.
So very excited about that, and seeing what they're talking about in D23, which a lot of announcements on multiple fronts. I felt the Star Wars announcements were lackluster overall. I felt it was like embellishments of celebration.
Disappointing to see today, I think, dropped today or yesterday, that Rogue Squadron has officially been dropped from the.
Yeah, I saw that today too.
We're still.
I'm not surprised.
It's been iffy lately. That
anybody who saw Wonder Woman 84.
I think that had something to do with it, but I also think they're trying to figure out what will make a viable movie that will earn $700 million at the box office.
Well, it won't be directed by Taika Waititi.
Right there. Look.
I know. We're watching it tonight.
We're watching it tonight.
Yeah.
They just
I will say
right back
that a standalone story that's serious, because this movie is very light on the humor. There's a little bit with K2SO, but it is a very serious story. It's an intense story. It's also one where I joke, like I use this phrase a lot. The stakes couldn't be lower. I say that a lot, but like truly in this case, the stakes couldn't be lower. We kind of know everything that's going to happen, and yet it really delivered because it's just executed perfectly. And the characters are good, the acting's good, the special effects look great, the battle scene. I think Battle of Scarif is the best battle in all Star Wars. I would fight anyone on that if we're going to have a debate. So I think you need to figure out how do you replicate it.
We know what you're going to say, Spencer. We know. He's going to fight you for Battle of Crate.
Crate's good. Crate's a really good one. Yeah,
Think
it's a
about
very
it.
different one too.
Yeah, it's you got Gareth Edwards also in the Battle of Crate in the trenches.
Yep.
I like how they incorporated the archive footage into this movie.
Yes, we see Angus McGinnis as Gold Leader, and the X-Wings in general. Yeah, they do a good job with that. It feels seamless.
Like really pulls you into that, making it part of like the original trilogy almost.
And I think I will argue that Battle of Scarif, the space battle, is so much better than, Crate was so much more about the ground battle.
Yeah.
And this one has got that space component as well, and that's why
I took out a lot of that ground battle in this movie, though, from what they showed in like the early trailers and like the publicity stuff, all that stuff on the beach with the plans in hand, but then that got changed and shifted.
Yeah, but the publicity stuff
ended up going up instead
the
of
publicity
out.
the publicity stuff was bull crap, because the best scene in any trailer of Jyn Erso running across to go do something at the radar, and all of a sudden she's face to face with a TIE fighter, which is like a trailer, and they cut it from the movie. And I'm like, no, that's cool. Like,
there's a lot of really cool looking stuff that they showed in trailers and things that ended up not making into that movie, or this movie, I should say. Yeah.
I don't know why they cut the TIE fighter specifically, because that felt like a moment. But the stuff on the beach, you look at it closely in the trailer, and they're obviously carrying something, and it looks like they physically have the plans, and they needed to change the execution of that to like make it so that it just goes through the antenna, right? So that became like a logistical thing. I get it. That movie had a lot of reshoots, and at the time we were like, oh, this is concerning. And then you find out this is just how the studio operates. Like, I feel like things are always changing. Like, what's that line about the Force? Like, the future is always in flux, or, you know, always in motion. I feel like it's the same thing with these scripts and these stories. Everything is always changing at all times.
You know, someone made a comment today online that the only Disney movie that has been less problematic during production was Last Jedi.
Really?
Think about it. Force Awakens had a little bit of issues in production. Solo changed directors. Rise of Skywalker changed directors.
Yeah.
Rogue One
And the
had
writer.
edits and writer, and the Rogue One had extensive rewrites and reshoots.
Extensive reshoots. Yeah. Well, you're right. Last Jedi didn't have all the tinkering, weirdly enough. I didn't think about it that way. You're right.
A little bit. We could have used a little bit.
Added that end part. But there's some good stuff in this movie.
Yeah, so it's a good movie, and I have a whole new appreciation of this movie after watching it in IMAX and seeing how the details were. You know, it's a. So while we're waiting for Ashley, because I like to wait, you know, so she jumps on. She'll be home in a minute now. And I like to, you know, start with her with us there. Why don't we go around table right now about our favorite moments of this movie in particular? But let's start with Mark.
Oh, put me right on the spot.
Absolutely. We show up late. That's what happens.
Yeah, no, you're right. So, you know, I'm like a Mon Mothma fanatic. I love the scene where it's a very talky scene where they have Jyn Erso brought in front of her and Jan Dodonna and Bail Organa, and they're talking about the plan. There's just something about the feeling of that that you can sense just how tense it is, the danger, and also that no one can really 100% decide on what they're going to do next, and there are different ways about going things. Like Jyn has this tension with the rest of the rebels, even though they're on the same side, and it sort of sets up like the main conflict of the movie. So I love that whole scene, and I also love that there's sort of a payoff to that later in the episode or later in the movie when everyone is together around like the picture of the Death Star, and it's like, are we going to fight or are we not going to fight? And there's some senators saying we need to do it, and other people are saying we don't. They vote to not fight, and then Bodhi and the rest of the crew steal the ship. And when he says call sign Rogue One and then just takes off and other people start to follow, it's like one of those things where it's like, this is how it happens. It's like completely disorganized, bottom up, no top down management, no one's following orders, you know, and it's chaos, but now we're in or not. And you have to like decide. I love the way it escalates from that throughout the movie. And then all of a sudden, bam, Battle of Scarif. Like that for me, I know those aren't exactly moments, but that flow just feels like exactly how it would happen. I thought it was incredibly well crafted.
Yep. Jeff, what about you?
I really love the Death Troopers, although they kind of annoy me because they're too badass for their own good. And you never see anything like that again in the trilogies, either side. So I mean, ultimately, you get
like what
variations of badass troopers, but K2SO is great. His interactions with Jyn, especially, a lot of fun. But yeah, there's some great battles, some great you know, rebel foundation building and things like that going on. So,
yep, Dave.
So I went into this surprisingly blind, I think. I don't know how much I'd watched trailers and how much I expected and what I knew about it. But when I saw this in the theater the very first time and Leia came on at the end, rebellions are built on hope. It was like, oh, my baby Jesus. It was just really just wow. And you know, on the second watch or the third watch, then you start picking apart the CG and the, you know, okay, they did this, and the you know, face mapping or deep faking or whatever is not just perfect, way better than Tarkin, but not perfect. But in that first moment of watching that, you know, built on hope, hands down, amazing in the theaters.
So I would say I got two moments that are my favorite. First and foremost is don't choke on your aspirations, director.
Everything with Vader is amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't know one person who did not when Vader goes completely ham.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like that's the kind of Vader that we've been waiting forever to see, going to their friend next to him, going, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" And completely on how badass Vader is in there. And there's the newest resident of the Commonwealth State. Hello, Ashley. How are you?
Hey.
Welcome. And
sorry, I can't hear you guys.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Testing. 1, 2, 4.
Give her a second.
Good. Yep. Nope. Yep. Uh-oh. Pluggy thingy.
There we go.
No.
Hello.
Oh, I hear you now. Okay.
Okay, there we
go. Sorry about that.
That is all right.
Well, welcome, Ashley.
I made it. Hi.
Welcome.
Only a couple minutes late. Not too
it's
bad.
fine. You went to go see a fantastic movie. So
okay, shame on you for not telling me how much I would cry through this whole thing.
Just was talking about that.
You know, so that I was just talking a little bit about that.
He warned the rest of us.
Oh, I'm telling you.
So good. And the rest, like, and I was explaining that there's more Star Wars references than just the usual shtick that they do in the original Clerks movie. There's one
seriously.
that's completely blatant. That's absolutely incredible. It's so meta. It's ridiculous. But we're gearing up to watch Rogue One.
Yes.
What was your favorite part of Rogue One when you watched it first?
I absolutely loved the fact that they had the Guardians of the Wills. Like, I love Chirrut and Baze. Like, the scene where they introduce them and Donnie Yen's fighting is just like incredible. Like, I heard he made his own style of fighting for this film, and just his quip with the "Are you kidding me? I'm blind," when they put the bag over his head. Like, that's one of my favorite things in Star Wars. I'm sorry. Totally worth it.
Absolutely. And actually, Catherine just commented on the same thing right there in the chat right now.
Yes.
For you. But everybody else who's in the crowd, what was your favorite moments of Rogue One?
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, we while we're waiting, also I want to plug the fact that if you go onto our TeePublic page today, all designs are 35%, including the new Rebels Revisited design, which someone bought 4 of those shirts the other day, so I have no idea who that was.
Whoa, I wonder.
I wonder. I was like, I got to see because it doesn't show me who bought it, but I saw 4.
It doesn't?
Oh. No, but I was like, okay, there's 3 guesses and one of them doesn't count. So.
Right. Oh, that was definitely
me. So absolutely very, very thankful of that. But yeah, please take a look at all our designs up there. They're on sale right now on TeePublic, and as we mentioned, proceeds go towards our swag for Celebration of London, which is going really well. So all right, so why don't we just make sure that everybody gets queued up on their D+ machines?
I have never ran home so fast as I did today. It was really cool. And I found something really, really awesome, but I'll show you guys later once we get started.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So you all queued, Ashley?
I am queued, ready to
run. Wow.
Yeah. I told you I was prepared.
Boom.
Cool. I know, right?
Messing around.
All right. So let's you know something? Ashley, why don't you kick us off for tonight?
Okay, let's see. We're gonna start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Yeah, ready to rock.
Lucasfilm logo is always great. This is such a varying version of the beginning, though. So you can see in that
The title crawl.
Star Wars logo, and then a crawl.
No crawl.
No.
I'm a big fan.
The big ship coming in, the big same.
But does that look like it's the Phantom Zone in Superman?
It has a
Yes.
real weird
I'm waiting
style.
for Zod. Speaking of which, did everybody see that cosplay from Dragon's Con?
Oh, that was
When
amazing.
Zod-
Oh yeah.
That was amazing.
Kudos to
people
those
had
cosplayers.
a great idea with that.
It's
and they all
like
hit the
you
parts
take
so well.
the comforter packaging that you and made it into the Phantom Zone. Like,
Pretty much.
Yeah. Like
I
honestly,
don't like anyone that much.
You yell up on them.
friends said
that-
that they lost air conditioning in the Hilton. So honestly, kudos to those cosplayers. I hope they were wearing deodorant because
or at least didn't
Yeah.
mind each other too much. Oh, young Jin.
I love
on,
this
Hunter.
actress.
So the one thing I liked, and maybe I'll buy it when I go to Batu next week, is the Stormtrooper doll,
Yeah.
which they
That's
sell
always-
they
Oh,
sell
yeah.
in the stands.
Stormy.
Yeah, I mean that's
They have a bunch of
like
variants.
telling of how
Uh-oh, Baldy.
brainwashed the population is.
hmm
I have a stormtrooper doll. You know, they obviously don't know what we know.
Right.
And I think it was something that was comforting to her as a child with her father working for the Empire. Like it
Yeah.
was just like
That connects.
she didn't know any better.
All right.
Yeah, it's a GI Joe to them. You know,
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
government.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's like your favorite one being Cobra Commander.
I love the villains. I got my Skeletor right over there.
Well, I mean, yes,
Yeah.
because that would be
Yeah.
Serpentor.
Oh, I was like Serpentor.
I
We
got my
like to-
first hot toy villain this week, and it's episode 9, Kylo Ren. And I was like, okay, I waited this long for a villain, but it's really, really good. And he's very tall for a figure too. So
Very, very cool.
Yeah, I may have
Oh,
to.
they're
know
the Death
their
Troopers, just for you, Jeff.
name. Oh yes.
Hey,
Black
look,
on black with that black sand they're cruising across. Pretty.
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
good.
hey, look, it's
And Krennic
Grindelwald.
in the white version standing out.
part of me is just like, Lyra, just shush. Don't leave her. Just stay with her. Don't do this to your kid. Why is
Yeah.
everybody an orphan in Star Wars?
Oh my god, we had a whole thing about
Mandatory.
that. She could have just run away with her. It would have been
Yeah.
fine.
Nobody
Yeah.
would know. She's
Her
dead.
move- Her move was very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take
Orphans,
this useless crystal with you.
orphans, and they put them in a hole. It's like they put them in a well.
Well, that's,
Little
you
baby
know,
Jessica.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, digging deep with the reference.
Yeah,
there,
really.
Mark.
90s, 80s, 90s references.
You have to be old. If you're old enough
It's a
to know
good-
the reference, we can all be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to
Okay, so everyone
Newberry
look closely.
Comics. Hey.
Oh, I
Yes.
love Newberry. I used to get my autographed CDs from them remotely, obviously, because I live in New
Yes.
York.
So, ooh, did you go to your old store?
I did. I had to go say hi to people, but I only knew one person that worked there. So I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh my God. But this is the Midtown Comics Thank You edition of the trade paperback. And it collects
Oh,
all
wow.
Rebels comics from the Rebels magazine. And I was like, I have to get it. So I
Yeah,
can't wait to crack into this bad boy.
That is
I'm gonna have to
very-
look for that. So take a look at Not Quite Admiral Krennic over here. Not Quite Director Krennic. He's got one row of badge.
Right.
I don't know. I forget his rank at this time though, but we have his whole uniform, the tunic, the cape, the hat, the belt, the pants. We do have his badge coming as director, which is actually Admiral. But yeah, his that's not white. It's definitely off-white.
That one's,
Yeah,
yeah.
we mentioned that and how like important and how much of that standing out Krennic's wardrobe here and
Yeah.
that was important in the Unifying Forces deep dive on Rogue One a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, because he's a pompous jerk and needs to have his own everything. So he's like, I'm going to add a cape to my outfit.
Mhm.
I'm going to create this title
Impossible
that doesn't really
cape.
exist anywhere
Lyra,
else.
come on,
It's a
babe.
miracle. I love that line.
And I'm like,
Back from the dead.
Yes.
You know, it's ironic as well that we're very much Andor-esque and talk about this, especially since we're going back to London. And when they did the Rogue One panel, the Death Troopers and Krennic showed up on stage to end Celebration last time. So
that's really cool.
Pretty cool.
As a joke, I call Ben Mendelsohn Men Bendelson. So every time I see him, I'm like, it's Men Bendelson. Sorry, it's stupid, but
No, it's awesome.
It works.
Didn't Topps do a signing with the actress who plays Ira?
Oh yeah, she was in Rogue One, Women of Star Wars. She was in a bunch of different things. I forget her name. I want to say Valerie something.
Yeah.
Valerie Kane.
Yeah, Lyra. Yes, Valerie Kane.
It's Valerie Kane.
She signed for us several times. Ben Mendelsohn signed for us.
Men Bendelson.
Men Mendelsohn.
Men Mendelsohn. Saw Gerrera, Forrest Whitaker, Felicity, Donnie Yen, Riz Ahmed. We got a lot of those people when I was there.
That's
that
an
first set we
autograph to
did
get.
for, yeah. And honestly, like you were able to find Donnie and Riz and Felicity like in pretty good numbers in our first Rogue One set. That first card set, the Rogue One Series 1, was just main cast. And it was a small print run because of that. I think Genevieve was the only the only person not on the poster in that set, and everyone else was like truly main cast. And of course Genevieve was main cast, but yeah, it was a very tight autograph set. A lot of sketch cards too.
I would have loved to have been on that set.
How
that was a fun one.
Does Genevieve look? She looks like Carolyn.
It's unbelievable. Like, and they cast her back in Revenge of the Sith from that deleted scene that I'm sure everyone's aware of, and she looked like her back then. It's that long neck. It's the structure of the face, and then her hair's dyed. I think she's blonde in real life, but
yes,
she's definitely not. That red is a choice. But like she really looks the part in Rogue One, and I will tell you in Andor, somehow she still looks like her, but looks younger. And I think it's the makeup and the costuming. Like it looks like they're filming a prequel. Like she looks amazing in the stuff we've seen for Andor so far.
And I love how they didn't give Forrest a wig for that scene. Like they just kind of let him be au natural.
Go for it. See, this kills me with this like weird title card.
Yeah.
Like,
I hate
it. Where's my crawl?
Yeah.
Like, I love Red Letter Media on YouTube, and they did like a really quick, like 3-minute video of like they're finally talking about Rogue One, and it's just like they went through the whole thing, and it's probably like one of the videos that I can recite from heart. And they're like, Lucasfilm logo a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but no title crawl. Oh well.
Yeah.
Now, is this the first Star Wars where it really got like gritty? You know, the dark and gritty, because we start from the beginning with like the physical black dirt, and we start seeing dirty people in Star Wars. You know,
it's very other than being in the woods during like Return of the Jedi, you don't really see them.
But I don't even think they got dirty in that. That's what I'm thinking. If you're on Endor in all of this forest, but I don't remember showing dirt. You know, this is kind of what we have to look forward to. I think, we're talking about Andor. I think we're going to see so much more of this.
Yeah, I think so. You'll see the rough sides of things.
All 5 of the Disney Star Wars movies are PG-13. And I think one of the ways you indicate that something's a little bit older is you darken the colors, like you desaturate, and you put grime and dirt on everyone. And it's kind of like post SpiderMan, every serious superhero movie did that shit. It was like the Batman trilogy,
Daredevil,
I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like pick a franchise. And someone actually put up a thing, and it was like, remember when you used to be able to see movies, and they showed a scene of Spider-Man from like 2000 of Mary Jane falling, and it's like brightly lit and colorful, is obviously done on a set. And then they showed something from, I think it was Far From Home or whatever, and it's nighttime and you can barely see anything. And it's like, yeah, you used to be able to see movies. Like the lighting choices have gotten to the point where like the less lighting you use, the more artistic and adult it seems, when it's like, I literally can't see the screen. Like someone turn up the brightness.
Like
something
even with the
happening?
brightness up, it's hard.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like
Yeah,
a
'cause
Game
there's no
of Thrones
color.
episode
There's no
where it was
contrast.
like that, where they had taken the contrast or something so far down that people like basically couldn't see it on their TVs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was something like that, an episode
Solo.
of Game of Thrones or something.
Oh no, it was an episode of Game of Thrones. I think it's when they were in with Beric Dondarrion in the caves. Like that was a really, really dark scene, and you can only see it when he lit the sword. And so much backlash they got from that episode.
Yeah.
A black episode, just black screen, nothing else.
So they
Yeah.
lit
What
the
are we doing
sword.
with that?
So just to
Oh,
let people
meanwhile,
know
this-
who are joining us right now, we're
Yeah.
sitting at around 10 minutes and 45 seconds.
Oh, sorry.
You see the true side of Andor right there.
Yeah.
Well,
I was gonna
Hey.
say, everyone, keep an eye on the hero of our story assassinating that man.
Well, that's what I'm looking forward to in Andor is finding out what makes
or him
this
killing
way.
more people.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, it could
he
be
has to
that
get to this
too.
point.
Right.
I'm hoping we're gonna get more Jeddah between
Me too.
this and also maybe even Acolyte, they're releasing cast members of Acolyte like left and right lately, which has actually been pretty cool.
It's very
Well,
exciting.
so have you seen what Bryce dropped on Comic Book Nerds a little while ago? Is the new High Republic is going to be set, I think, 150 years before the other High Republic, so way, way long ago. But it's going to focus on a lot of the Kyber temple on Jeddah.
Ooh.
Am I wrong on this? I think
Very
if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think Bryce was in the comments, but I think left. But
That's cool.
yeah, so we're gonna get a lot of backstory on this, and maybe that goes hand in hand with what we're about to see.
Chantel, I
don't know.
agree. I can't wait for it to shake things up. Like
Hmm.
I'm all for the gritty. I'm all for the realism. Not
I
so
agree.
much the force of it, but like what the actual real people had to deal with in
Well,
the
but
Empire.
the one thing we were talking about before, and Dave saw it for the first time last week, but those of us went to the IMAX a couple weeks ago, is
Lucky.
the scene in that factory that totally does not look like a Star Wars, but it looks like an espionage type of movie or scene, and then you just go pew pew, and that's how you know it's Star Wars. But that's the grit we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally is, because that looked like, I don't know, to me, the brick and the mortar looked like that's something far more in place of Sherlock Holmes movie. You know, the big wrought iron chains and the brick.
Factory. Yeah.
Yeah, more
Yeah, that set piece was weird.
industrial type stuff.
Dave, I know on your show on Sunday, you guys were talking about the box and trying to figure out like what was stolen.
Yeah.
Like it looked. I think at one point you guys were talking Vader's chest box, but
Yes.
was
That's what I thought.
probably
Too thick.
Has
Yeah.
a similar look.
yeah.
Unless it
I
gets
had-
like installed in his chest.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's a CPU, didn't you know?
It's one of those old Alpine CD players that you used to
Yeah.
have.
That's right. It's the
You
one
want
that you have to
to-
remove. You have to take it with you, so Vader
It had a
doesn't.
little handle that would flip up, and you.
Yeah,
pull it
it's got you put 9 discs in it, didn't you?
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
that was in the trunk.
Put it right in the trunk of the car. Yep.
But the unit
I-
itself, you always wanted to pull it out so nobody would break in and steal
Yeah.
your sweet sounds.
Get rid of your faceplate for someone
No,
steals
that
it.
was the next step. When they did that, that was
Hmm.
put that in your pocket. I'm talking about older than that, when you had to take the whole thing
The
out.
whole thing out. Yeah.
And it was like this big with a little handle. Anyways, I digress.
I love seeing Yavin.
Great, yeah, Yavin.
General Syndulla.
That's
For
a
the
little
like
later,
first
I think.
time.
Right?
That's later. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Spoiler alert.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
This is the cool stuff that Mark is going to have as a nightlight in his apartment.
That's the one. Yeah, I gotta get something like that. That's General
Well, that's-
Draven.
Yes.
There's a lot of small scale versions of lights like that you can get.
Yeah.
Not quite as
Yeah,
cool.
I'm sure I could get like a little guy. See, this is the
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
I've got,
thing
like,
that
a
this is
meter
the scene I
over
was
there.
talking about before we started. This whole sort of interrogation with Jin.
Mhm.
I just think
She's
it's
like-
so well done.
Oh crap! They know everything about me. Like,
Uh-oh.
bruh.
Yeah.
The location's
guy
always
signed for us,
weird
too.
to me. I
Oh,
felt
cool.
this sort of a weird out in the open kind of way to do this, as opposed to, like a true interrogation, in a isolated area, behind closed doors or whatever.
But I
Even
feel
if-
like that's more exposing to Jin because she operates alone. She's always done things in secret, and to have everybody know all this stuff about her
Oh, right.
and her be as exposed here as she is, she's on the defense already.
Hmm.
So rebel intelligence, wouldn't that be an imperial oxymoron?
Imperials would think that possibly, yes. It's like imperial intelligence if they, or no.
Sidebar, Amelia Clark in Secret Invasion looks awesome. I just
Very
want to throw that
cool.
out there.
Yes.
If you saw the trailer for Secret Invasion this past week.
I'm very excited about Invasion.
Yes.
Not to be confused with Secret Wars, and I think there's going to be a lot of confusion. It's very
Yes.
stupid that they have
Completely.
2 shows with Secret in the title so close together.
They love to do that kind of stuff.
This is the one without Black Spider-Man.
Here we go.
And props to them, even with Obi-Wan, for bringing in Jimmy Smits.
Yeah. He's great.
He's fantastic.
I assume we'll see him in Andor. They haven't confirmed that, but like it would be stupid for them not
They didn't
to
really
have him
confirm him
involved.
in Obi-Wan, did they?
No, but you
I
still
thought-
you
I
kind
thought
of
they
saw that.
did. I can't remember now. Like, because you know how these marketing beats
we were
go, and
discussing
then
this on Sunday, and it's like we were like, I could have sworn that I'd seen like a teaser or a trailer that you saw Bale for like a second, but I can't remember exactly where or if that actually happened.
Or if it was like
if he's going to become a full
Mandela effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or it's Mandela effect.
Yeah,
I love how
feeling is
cool she is being here. Like she's just like, I know your history with Saw. Like she's just like
she knows everything. Mon
Yeah.
Mothma.
It's just like, yeah, what we'll use it as testimony in the Senate. Yeah, you know who is the Senate?
Oh, gee. Well, we talked about that too. We're like, are we gonna see Palpatine in Andor?
Wait,
some
actually,
way.
yes.
I think,
We will see
yeah.
Palpatine. We will not see Darth Sidious. I think that's the difference, right? We're going to see the political move. We're going to see the Emperor and how he rules with an iron fist as the Senate, and we're going to see other bullshit politicians and governors and that type push that down, tyrannical. But we're not going to see, lightning and force powers and any of that. I don't think.
I hope they bring back Guy Henry, quite honestly, and just allow Guy Henry to be Guy Henry and not do an overlay of his face that looks worse than the Scorpion King.
I don't mind the
I don't know,
Tarkin
the Scorpion
in this.
King
This
is
doesn't
Yeah,
bother me.
Wasn't
I actually think the Tarkin CGI is actually fine.
it
He's
Looks
not
a
in
little
lot,
video
which
gamey.
helps.
a little, yeah. You get that kind of
And
rendered.
I just gotta give it up for Alan Tudyk in this whole movie. Like on top of wearing the stilts and the mocap, just having the fun that he had with the character, as serious as he is.
I had to ask Ashley and Mark this. I asked this to Jeff as well. Do you remember from from Orlando 2017? Were you there, Ashley?
I was not. No.
Okay, Mark, do you remember seeing those in a mocap K2 outfit, but it was the gray outfit and he had a K2 head
I
attached to
saw
his head?
photos of that
Yes.
from people.
I think
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I don't
incredible.
remember if I saw it in
No,
person.
remember Orlando was traumatizing for me.
That's true.
So I do have a couple good stories though from Orlando, and some of them are Rogue One related. I have a good Riz Ahmed one that I could share.
He
with
was
the group.
there.
Yeah,
That's
Oh,
so
yeah, he was there, so that helps. In 2019, it was a visa thing. His whole story. He came out with that and told everyone what actually happened. He was racially profiled. It was very sad.
Yeah.
Oh.
Very solid.
And really infuriating.
That was like straight up racist.
Oh yeah, a lot of people were pissed
Yeah.
about that because the double shot you were supposed to have, the photo op, and
It was. I mean, we were obviously upset
very high.
for him for what had happened, and then we had to tell all the fans who were very disappointed, and it was a whole
Right.
thing. In 2017, though, when he was there, interestingly, I was his pickup So the first person to like greet him in the morning and bring him where he needed to go. And we had to go to hair and makeup, which makes literally no sense for someone who looks like him. He needed no help. There were plenty of other people who actually need hair and makeup done. And he got like a little bit of under eye, very similar to Hayden, where I was like, why are we making this trip? But it was far away. So we had to take
Hayden could have used it, and Hayden could have used that in Obi-Wan.
That cracks me up because he looks old. He looks so old in those clips. I don't care though. It's the same thing. It's like I know this is all fake. But so we take the golf cart.
Too.
Yeah.
So you're saying about this? I'm sorry.
Sorry. Saw is entering. I love Forrest Whitaker. I have a story about him too. We have to take the golf cart, and then on the way back, when we're done with hair and makeup, which by the way took like a half an hour. I don't know what happened, but like he looked exactly the same when we got out. He looked great still. But we go back, and on the way back, he asked the driver, can he drive the golf cart? He fancies himself a pilot now, like Bodhi, right?
Oh.
And I'm thinking the security personnel is going to be like, absolutely not, insurance, you're out of your mind. And he's like, oh yeah, jump in. And I was like, this man doesn't even live in America. They drive on the wrong side of the road. What's wrong with you? So Riz Ahmed jumped in the front, and it's me, the security guy, Riz Ahmed, and his publicist. So the security guy sits in the passenger seat. Riz Ahmed drives the thing. I'm in the back with the publicist facing out, like, into the street.
Did you put a seatbelt on?
No, there are no seatbelts. And when I tell you his foot went to the floor and we flew, I really thought, I was like, this is how I'm going to die on day 2 of celebration at like 8 a.m, flying off a golf cart. I literally screamed. He loved it. We went from like one end of the like the loading dock all the way down to the other. And then he was like, well, let's go back. And I was like, I'm getting off here. And then he was like, no, we're still going to go. We went back and then back again. So, and it was delightful. And I was like, well, if this is the way I go, like, it's a good story.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
gosh.
Yeah. So that's how he started the day. So he was hyped from there. And then my husband actually like was his handler for the day.
Aww.
So Jason, who was volunteering with me, I was able to pass him off to him. And then Jason got to deal with him all day. And they took like pictures together, and he handled the signings. And yeah, it was good stuff. They have a great photo where they're like fist bumping. He was vlogging the whole time too. And apparently he has so much footage from Orlando 17. I was like, you need to turn it into something, because he has more footage than anyone there.
That's amazing. And it's celebration. So you know how huge those things get. And it was his first one. You might as well celebrate.
Yeah, he was super cool. He was thrilled to be there.
So the dish is always awesome. I remember seeing the trailer when we see the dish being put in. We're like, oh my god, it's awesome. But the details in the IMAX version, when you actually see like the little widgets and the plugs and everything of like under the dish, it was actually really cool to see the detailing of that.
Did Tarkin look terrible on IMAX? Because he looks fine on my screen right here.
Yeah.
I didn't hate him.
I'm used to it by now. I mean, to me, it's still like meh. But the thing is that Guy Henry looks like he could pass off as a young, Peter Cushing. So
I've seen the photos. They're cousins. They're not twins. And this is this is also, I'm sure they must have gotten the estate's approval to do this for Tarkin. So they had to overlay Tarkin, right? Peter Cushing.
Well, the thing was that so they showed.
It doesn't bother me.
They showed
reflections are what bother me, but anyways,
they showed Carrie what they did in this movie, and she thought it was actually her.
Yeah, she's like, I don't remember shooting that scene.
How did she think it was actually her?
I love Carrie Fisher, but that sounds exactly like something she would say.
Exactly. Like I remember Joe had his Slave Princess print at Celebration Europe, and he went to give it to her, and she goes, oh, I remember when I looked just like that. It's her in the slave bikini and everything. And so she's a riot when it comes to things like that.
And how about you, Ashley? Ashley, you called it in Anaheim Billy being pregnant.
I did. She had a cute little dress on, and it was like a little belly, and I didn't want to say, oh my god, congratulations, because
she could have had a burrito like an hour before.
Yeah, exactly.
Lunch.
Yeah, exactly. She's so like little and petite, and I know like I didn't want to say anything. And she had like I figured it was because she had her son at home, and both her and Katie had the plexiglass up, and they both have young infants and toddlers at home. So I figured it was for that reason, but she had a little bump, and I was like, I think she's pregnant. And she is. So congrats to Billy.
So Mr. Notman is asking, we touched on it a little bit. Do we think Tarkin will be in Andor?
Yeah, I think so. That's part of my prediction.
Well, we'll see. Because I mean, I don't know if you consider him fan service or not, because that was the one thing that they're harping on, is that don't expect a lot of fan service in the series. Well, at least in season 1. Because season 2 obviously is going to be K2 will be enough fan service for all of us.
Here's my thought on that. Like, he's predictable enough that I don't think it would be fan service, because Tarkin appears in A New Hope,
Rebels.
The Clone Wars, Rebels, Rogue One. Like, he's kind of everywhere, right? They throw him into the video games. Like, he's a big enough character and has had such presence, and it makes sense because every character I keep seeing in the trailers is an Imperial officer. So Tarkin would be at the governor level or Grand Moff at this point. He would at some point be at like a big round table. I think it would be interesting if they threw in Yularen. That would be cool. But I think any Imperial that we've seen who's still alive at this time would be fine to see them. Although I want to see new characters, and it sounds like they're going to give us a lot of new characters.
So I want to ask you, Mark, you and Ashley, and I've asked Jeff and Dave this when we've watched A New Hope. When you get to the round table of all the governors, to the left of Vader, there's an empty chair.
Yep.
You think it's Krennic or you think it's Thrawn?
Oh, so it's neither, obviously.
Which one?
So, it's the kind of thing where we're now trying to plug holes that didn't exist. It's just an empty chair. But like, I think if you had to make that case, like, who does it belong to? It's Thrawn, because Krennic is not that guy. Krennic is part of ISB and like doesn't seem to be particularly liked by anyone, including Vader, including Tarkin. Like, I don't think he has a place at that table, whereas Thrawn was highly respected. And the only reason he's not there is that he was catapulted into outer space with the space whales by Ezra. So if you had to pick between those two, I go Thrawn. Like, do you want Krennic on there? Like, I know he built.
You would think they would have, even if it's right away, even though it's right away, they would have filled that position very quickly. Somebody moved up into that slot and been like, I'm going to sit
for Thrawn.
Oh yeah, because
not for Thrawn.
Vader immediately promoted guys as soon as he killed the guy. It's like, you're the admiral now.
Right.
Admiral
Piet. Yeah.
Hey, look, it's Borg.
So here's the follow-up to: do we think we're going to see Tarkin in Andor? Do we think we're going to see Krennic in Andor? Are we going to build him up, kind of in a roundabout way? Are we going to build him up to be the villain of this movie long after this movie?
Yeah.
What do you think, Ashley? I have thoughts about the Rogue One cast in general, but I want you to go first, and then I'm going to jump on.
About who I think is at the chair.
Krennic in particular. If Krennic's going to show up in Andor.
I think Krennic will show up in Andor, and it's because he's kind of spearheading the project that they're working on right now in Rogue One, and it's already really well off the ground. But there's more to it. I feel like they're like the bugs on Geonosis. They know that there's a bigger plot in motion. And I think Krennic will be a big part of that.
Will he be played by Men Bendelson?
I think so. Like, he's already involved in Secret Invasion and stuff like that. So he's already in the Disney world, and it's very easy to get him in that. So
yeah. See, I think that could qualify. Tarkin or Krennic could qualify for my prediction that I made on Sunday. Was in the first 3 episodes, we will see somebody big, a big surprise that we have not seen in the trailers. Someone like that is going to show up in the first 3.
Borg Gullet.
I would buy
You're all lying.
So
here we go. Here's Johnny Yen.
Yes, it's my boy.
These are your guys. You talk about these guys all the time.
Did he also want to be blind? Like, he actually wrote that into his character?
Yes. He thought it was, interesting to have someone be so strong in their faith in the Force that they didn't need their sight to see. So
I like that.
and I love
I
how
wanna
like
s-
Chirrut is just kind of lurking back there, like being on guard just in case.
He's the eyes. Yeah.
They have
I
such
I
implicit trust.
I hope for you that they make it into the show, but
I will cry.
I know. Here's the thing. My actual prediction is I don't think we're going to see them. I also don't think we're going to see Krennic, and I don't think we're going to see most of the Rogue One people because none of these people seem to know each other. Like
not even gonna see
Cassian
Andor.
doesn't recognize any of these people. You know, and Jyn Erso's obviously not involved. So my thought is, I mean, in theory, there could always be an isolated scene that has like Guardians of the Wills doing Guardians of the Wills stuff. That's like separate from them, or
But
they
he
run
knows
into
they're Guardians of
Draven
the
or
Wills, so
Sure.
he must have run into them at some point. He just kind of didn't pay much attention to them.
And
I don't think they've ever
looks pretty
interacted, is what I
familiar
mean.
with Jeddah.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
Yeah,
I've been to Jeddah.
he knows the planet. Yeah. Well, this brings up the big question of like, you know, is Andor truly a prequel to Rogue One? Or is this the show? Is the show Andor a prequel to Rogue One? Or is the Andor show going to be an episodic telling of forming the rebellion? I think it's the latter. I
Yeah.
don't think it's a prequel to Rogue One. I think it is about building the rebellion, which is more so what our countdown has been all about on our Rebels Revisited show. Like we've been talking about Wedge and we've been talking about Mon Mothma and everyone else and forming the larger rebellion. Frankly, like Sheridan Bays and K2 and Krennic have very little to do with like the larger rebellion that we know and love, right? Like
Right.
it's really more about those other characters. So I think we're going to be more in that territory. Now I think it'd be cool to see them, and I think the other thing I think is like I think Guardians of the Wills is like ripe for a whole anthology of storytelling. Like there's so much to that, but I like if Donnie Yen were in this show, we would know it. Same thing I think with Ben Mendelsohn. Like I don't see them popping up.
I
don't
am
think.
gonna be faithful and hoping that they
Well, that's
surprise
gonna be
me.
me and Barris Offee.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like Barris
Yeah.
Offee is gonna turn up somewhere.
That would be
I forgot to answer a question earlier. Catherine was asking about Riz Ahmed canceling in Chicago. Yeah, this was the flight issue that he had. He was not permitted to leave England or land in America because of some weird racial profiling thing with his passport. He announced the story about a year after the fact. Like we knew internally, obviously, and had to keep that quiet. We just knew he like had an airport issue. And then he publicly came forward with the story because this was like during Trump administration nonsense. So
Yeah.
That was a worst kept
thing.
secret though, because that story actually spread around
It leaked.
the
It
autograph
leaked.
hall. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
remember
had a
hearing-
photo op with him too.
I remember
that
hearing
was
that
the
on the
I had to
floor.
cancel.
20 minutes after I heard directly from the agent, I heard it from someone on the floor. So the story had leaked pretty badly.
Yeah.
I was nervous that we were going to be held responsible for that leak because I knew I could count on one hand how many people knew, and then it turned out hundreds knew. So
Right.
I was like, oh great, like we're gonna get a very special phone call, about like confidentiality. But it was not us. It was really sad, and it was one of those. It was like there were a lot of things that have gone wrong at a lot of conventions that I've seen. That was among the worst. Just like personally, like the way I felt about like someone being treated like that. That was terrible.
Right.
I love how K2 calls her out. Did you know that wasn't me?
Maybe not.
Target practice.
But you did, and I thought it was boring.
Huh?
See, totally deadpan and serious, but still like comic
Yeah.
relief at the expense of the empire. I love it.
Mhm.
And just enough. Like it's not overdone.
Mhm.
The balance is good. It's a very serious film.
And
Classic Lipsy.
yeah, and taking him
One
to
of my
the
favorite
imprisonment
scenes
camp.
right here.
So I meant to ask Ashley, the mural that was leaked from Ahsoka.
Oh yeah.
But then Mark's like, we need to have that at Celebration London so we can get a
We
photo
do.
op. Like I got chills. Like it just
And
It
it's the
looks so
same
good.
drawing as the end of Rebels, from the epilogue.
and that was really,
it's
really
spot
cool.
on.
Like I don't know if it's like an actual painted set prop or if it's something that was projected onto a wall or
Could be
what
like
have you.
volume.
Yeah, like through the volume or anything like that. But like I think somebody commented like Dave Filoni will have this on the wall in his house, and I'm like,
I would.
Yeah,
If I had
and
a
would
free
make
wall,
space. Yeah.
If
Yeah,
he's
he would-
never home,
likelihood
she's
that
always
he would have a
complaining that he's
practical
never at the
version.
house. So
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
He's like to do that thing where he make a practical version of it that he can keep.
Yeah,
Like
and just
the,
put it on
like
their
the model
patio.
of the Razor Crest model that's like that big, that they covered in foil and everything to make it look really cool.
Ah, so cool. There he is, kicking butt. I love it.
Yes.
Get him.
is
yeah,
your
this
foot
fight
all right?
choreography is incredible.
And I'm so excited
Blind
to see
man-
him in John Wick. Just absolutely kicking butt in John Wick.
Yeah. This whenever I see this scene, it totally takes me back to the old adage of getting your ass kicked by a blind man with a stick. They say that Han, basically beat Boba without seeing and with a stick. Anyways.
It's like
Chariot to the
Rafiki.
rescue. And then here comes Baze with the blasting.
It's just like, yep, boom.
Like, let's finish this off.
Okay, Hot Toys. I've been waiting for a Baze Malbus figure for like 3-4 years now. Chop chop. I know there's a prototype.
It's not
I've
like
seen
you're
it.
like an admin for their Facebook group, so you got.
Well, that's hot. That's
Have a
Hot
little
Toys.
poll.
It's a totally separate entity. But
Okay.
like they've had the prototype at conventions and they haven't put it out. And I'm like,
Oh,
come on, I need it.
Maybe there'll be some renewed interest because of the Andor
I
show.
hope so that'd be so
Like
cool.
I mean, if you open Disney Plus, the first movie in the movie scroll was Rogue One.
Yeah, that's how I
they've
got
done-
in so fast.
It's little small things like that
Yeah.
you can tell that they're trying to connect. It was like when Obi-Wan came out and they put together the Obi-Wan collection and it had all the clone. It's so funny. It's as if they copied the VCN watch along too.
Yeah,
I
they're
was like,
totally
this is
us.
like the
Like,
exact
wait.
list we're watching. Yeah.
They are watching us.
Yeah. I know the Eye of Mordor is on me, especially now that I have a shirt out that I had nothing to do with. I'm not profiting off this non-licensed merch to do. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, there's a Rebels Revisited shirt that Jeff, you made the shirt, right?
Dave
You
did.
created it?
Dave put it together.
No, I did.
Dave did. Okay, Dave. Thank you, Dave. It looks
it's
great.
beautiful.
Welcome.
Yeah.
I bought 4 of them.
Okay.
I got 3 different types of blue and 1 orange. One's for Jason, so really 3 are for me. But I need blues and orange.
Why that design did what it did is because
Yeah.
it looks so good on other colors.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
I went through the whole list. It looks good on yellow, and nothing looks good on yellow. I got orange, which is obviously a big Rebel color, so that really worked. The only thing it didn't work on was green because the design is so red. It looked very Christmassy. And I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
okay.
But that could
Which
be
I
a
love a
Christmas.
green t-shirt.
But that could be your Christmas shirt.
Yeah. There was a moment where I was like, this could be very specific for December only. But I got the heather blue, the regular blue, the orange. I got one as a
Oh,
V-neck.
heather.
I'm taking notes because
yeah.
I need to buy one now that I've sold
Well,
off a bunch of
hey,
pops after my move.
For
And I can
those
get one.
of you, who are listening and over in the chats and stuff as well, looks really nice on the ladies' cut shirts and kind of the belly colors. It's a pretty nice in pink. I tested and
Mhm.
pale blue and
You got yourself a pink one?
Yellow.
Tried it on?
I might. No, as I tested in the Photoshop, sir. Tested
Oh,
in the
Nice.
Photoshop.
It works for
I
all.
don't think we've had time for actual shirts to come
That
in.
costly.
See, Mark, you have no more shirts to wear during our shows.
That's what I needed. I'm wearing this one again, the Disney weekends. I keep every week I'm like, oh, I gotta buy shirts. We even had time off with Labor Day.
Yeah.
And then I missed my show on Monday. I think I told everyone. By the way, thank you guys for covering for me.
Yeah,
and
thank
Ashley.
you
She was
guys.
moving
Oh
across
my
the
God.
country.
You call what
problem.
we did
You needed
cover.
to have 3 people there and to cover for
And
you.
who, by the way, can't read show notes. I was cracking up because I'm watching the show back and I'm like, what are they not? It's in the
No.
notes. And then
No,
later they're
here's-
like, oh,
here's
wait,
the
it's in the
perfect
notes.
thing.
I was
Yeah, that's
dying.
exactly I was like, oh, we're on IMDb, and I'm like, oh crap, it's right there. I had it
Yeah.
on my side screen.
We
All you
all
had to
had
do
it
was scroll
open.
down a
too.
little.
It was all.
I
open.
love you guys.
Yep. No, I believe it. Look, I've done that too, where I'm like, where am I in here? And then I can't find like even the episode number. I was like, "Where's the damn episode number?"
Yeah, I
Where's
do
the
a lot of
We
title?
do that with
Disney
episode
Plus.
19. We're like, is it 19? Is it 9? Did he do faux
It's
pas?
19.
Well, I got stuck on like the first season instead of the third season, and then it was like, well, there's less episodes, so it's telling me there's only 12,
Yep.
and I'm confusing it with the third season, and putting out false information about Mark not giving us right. Right.
You corrected it. I watched the whole episode. By the way, you guys did a good job. You guys bring.
We were like, we're
you know,
trying not to have any shenanigans because we had like a reputation to uphold for you guys. We're like, yeah, we're
No,
throwing
it's
that out.
fine.
We're throwing that out the window.
No,
It
you guys
just-
like
it goes
totally
that way. We
rescued
have no
me
control.
'cause I couldn't even sit in here. That's how full of boxes it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
we're,
I was like,
we're
no
glad that you're back in the Commonwealth. So
oh, thanks. Yeah, it's good to be home. I appreciate it.
And say I had a last minute. One of my friends got me as a gift a ticket to see Trixie Mattel and Katya,
I
the
love
drag
that.
queens from
Looks like a
Drag
lot of
Race.
fun.
They sold out Radio City Music Hall, you guys.
Pretty
Two men in
hardcore.
wigs doing lip syncs and all sorts of other nonsense. Sold
Love
out
it.
Radio City Music Hall.
That's
And by the way,
awesome.
Kelly Mantle was there, who are nowhere near as famous as Trixie and Katya, but an amazing drag queen.
Yeah.
And is also from season 6. She's just awesome. I love her. She was third build. She was like part of the show with them. But I think that's also where I got sick, because like Wednesday morning, and I was like, it's not COVID, I tested. But like Wednesday morning, I was like, oh, I'm not feeling great.
Aw.
I'm tired. And then this morning I was running a fever. I was like, okay, like I need to just take the day off and rest all day. And I think that's what happens. You get in a crowd now, even if it's not COVID, like our immune systems are so out of whack.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Because we
I'm
haven't been
sick.
around anybody to be exposed to
No.
anything.
Exactly.
Well,
Because
and
I was
it
in a
doesn't
theater
help
for the
that
first
you're
time.
constantly
Yeah, sitting
worried
in
that it's
the
COVID
recycle
if
there.
you do have any sort of symptoms, so it makes you worse.
That's
Right.
exactly it too. It becomes psychosomatic. Like the more I thought about it, I was like, oh, it's malaria. It's a common. It's the intersection of monkeypox
Monkeypox.
and whatever's next. Yeah. Which I got my first shot for that, which is great, and I'm already at the point where I'm almost eligible for my second. So I'm like, wait, but I got a text message every day from New York City talking to me about monkeypox, which is nice, but at the same time, it's like I'm good. Like I got my first shot. I was like, you can leave me alone until the second one's ready now. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Somewhat disturbing.
I think this shows how separate Saw is, because Jin's got skin in the game. Like it's her father's life on the line here. And Saw's like, do you not care about the cause? And there are two different sides of the same coin. Like one is for the rebellion, but on close personal matters, and one just cares about the rebellion as a whole and shutting everything down that the Empire has to throw at them. So,
Okay, big reach question. If Andor does well, and remember, we've already got promise of season 2, so there's that. But after season 1 and season 2, do we go back and get Jin and Saw? The early days?
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think we've already seen a lot of early Saw
Typical
stuff and Bad Batch and Rebels and Clone Wars, and it'd be kind of redundant at this point, where you do see maybe not as teenage Jin in a hole fighting with Saw's band of misfits, but you know enough about that time where she's been doing this alongside him and she has that training, so it would be kind of redundant at this point, although it would be cool because I'd totally watch whatever they threw at me for that.
we need more Kira and Crimson Dawn. before
Hell yeah,
that.
those comics are phenomenal.
Yeah. The Make Solo 2 Happen should really transition to a D+ show campaign. I don't know. This is another one where it's like from the bottom up. If we can figure out not Solo 2, but instead the adventures of young Han Solo, like something like that.
And that would probably go as well as the young Indiana Jones.
And Cast
Chronicles.
River Phoenix?
That was great.
No, I know everyone's going to make
Love
those
that
immediate
show.
comparisons, but frankly, like Harrison Ford can do the intro monologue. We talked about this with Lando. What
Yeah.
if like Billy D were in a better place? He could have done the opening intro.
He did Lego Summer
monologue.
Vacation. Like he's
Yeah,
did
you're right.
really
Actually, he sounded
Yeah.
fine in that. And then Donald was going to come in and play him in young version. I think
That
you
would
could
be
do that with
amazing if
Harrison and
Donald
Alden.
could do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. That Lando show's not happening. Who are we kidding? Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but Billy D does sound fine. He sounds absolutely wonderful on a certain
Yeah.
someone answering machine message.
Yeah. John Nodman got Billy D to do his voicemail.
that's amazing. Go
Yeah.
John.
Wait, who did?
John Notman.
So when he was he
Oh.
ranted Derek and Billy D in at Fanboy, and
Oh, nice.
Billy D did his voicemail.
That's very cool. Billy's a
is
good guy. I've met him several times.
This is like
And
the
Derek's
saddest
terrific.
hologram ever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a moment, right?
I remember bawling my eyes out in the theater because I could just see her like, oh my God, my dad
Right.
didn't
The fact
abandon
that-
me.
She really is.
The fact though
really
that there's
very
like no
well
evidence.
without saying a word. She's just her face tells you a lot.
And please cue
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson's scene in a few seconds.
Felicity is terrific in this movie. I wish we did have more Felicity content. Like, yeah, obviously we thought all these characters were going to die, but I was like, they could also just be somewhere else. Like, not everyone's at every battle.
I did not have any concept going into this. Everybody dies. I was just
I immediately assumed.
Gonna be a thing like where's Ahsoka where's Ahsoka during the OT? She's somewhere, but
Right.
Yeah. I think they are going to have to answer that. I know that according to the book, which I was referenced by E.K. Johnson, she's sort of out in the outer rim, sort of trying to lay low. But we know she has to connect with, she becomes Fulcrum. So there is going to have to be a definitive answer as to the time period of 4, 5, 6, because we see up to the end of Rebels, and then we see the epilogue, which is post 6. So what is that? What is 4, 5, 6?
How about that shot of Ahsoka incognito at Padme's funeral?
Mhm.
Yes. Oh my God. Someone brought up the point that like Ahsoka always felt like she had to protect Padme, and so her being there is probably one of the most devastating things we're going to see on film.
I swear
for
to God,
Star
if
Wars.
we
It's like,
see
I
a
can't-
tear come down
Yeah.
under that hood, I know we haven't
Oh,
seen it
man.
yet, but if there's a tear, I'm gonna lose my damn mind.
The
I'm a
visuals
plus.
for this whole scene are so insanely incredible. This whole scene,
Oh,
This
totally.
editing is spectacular. The tension.
the way that
Oh,
they
man.
moved
and just
Death
how
Star in,
the
create
background noise starts to get.
yeah, it's all just amazing.
Mads is
Complete.
just an incredible actor, and like you
And just-
totally.
But you're starting to see just slight
What's up with-
dust coming through the.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
then, boom.
Atmospheric changes.
Holy crap!
What's up with the disposable hologram though?
I don't think it's disposable. They just
One-time
didn't
use,
grab it on
like
their way
the-
out.
It's
Well,
the,
no, because Saw's already seen it, so he already knows. He was showing Jin, so it's
Yeah.
just a portable hologram, or he has
They
like
don't-
a little.
Sort of like
They don't
feel
just,
the
they just
hologram-
don't save
sort of
it.
the hologram of in Obi-Wan of Bail Organa that
know that it
Riva
gets crunch-
sees
Yeah.
at the end of the episode.
There's a problem with the horizon. There is no horizon.
Yeah. The horizon is gone. He's
Oh,
got some
that's
amazing
rough.
lines in this movie.
I love the kind of technology questions that the Baze character, raises about Star Wars and why you have to have this giant canister and the big
And-
chain thing
yeah,
feeding an energy weapon, and
Yeah, what
just
benefit is
leads
that?
you down another bigger rabbit hole about how Star Wars blaster technology works.
And you see how bad Saw has been like dealing with his health issues and being like practically a walking oxygen tank.
But
He
the weird thing is, though, which I would like to find out, is that there's been enough humanoids since the Battle of Geonosis on Geonosis, but yet he's the one who gets raid poisoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Obi-Wan.
I think it was more
on.
than that, though. I think it was more than what happened on Geonosis. I think it was probably like over time.
It was another mission, probably.
Yeah.
Lots of things he was exposed to over the years.
Oh, it's beautiful.
effect
I
is
use this on
amazing.
everything.
Yes, this just continues with these insane visuals. Hey,
It's so
Bodhi.
well done.
K2
Like, it
stayed
looks
in the
very
ship,
practical.
thank God.
Yeah.
this is such a great crew that sort of organically comes together this way. By the way, Bodhi's like such the hero of this movie, being a whistleblower and as someone who defects. We talk a lot about defecting. That's been like a real theme on our show on Rebels Revisited on Mondays. We've been talking a lot about people who defect. Like Sabine is the first one we meet in Rebels, and then Wedge was a defector, Hobby was a defector, Mon Mothma's a defector, Leia and Bail are defectors. Like people forget that because they're in politics, not military. But
Hot Callus.
We did a whole special on him too. Like Bodhi really saves the day here. And I think that we're going to see in the Andor show, like as these crimes continue, more and more people leave the Imperials to join the rebel cause, as you find that like this is just targeting civilians. There's nothing military about this. They just like wiped out like a lot of innocent people.
Yeah. Like a mining community or whatever it was, or just the holy temple sort of community,
the holy city or whatever.
Yeah.
Terrible. I do hope we learn more about Jedha too, because we know a lot about Ilum, and this is the other place where the Kyber crystals come from. So
and it's also very sacred to the Jedi and the temple and everything. So that'd be important.
I of course cannot find the post that I was referencing earlier, as I know it's out there. I swear it is. So Bryce, when you watch this on the replay, like put it in the comments. Tell us where this thing actually was.
So my brother's oldest daughter, her name is Bodhi, and I remember being so thrilled that my brother named her Bodhi. I'm like Bodhi Rook in Star Wars, and he goes, "What?"
Mr. Notman's grandson. His name Bodhi as well.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yep.
But I was so stoked. I'm like, yes, my nerdiness is rubbing off indirectly.
How's Ahsoka dealing with the location change?
She's been staying in my room. She's actually like right next to me, snoozing on the Newberry bag. But she's been good. She's been settling in here, and I haven't introduced her to the dog and the cat that already live here yet. So just slow transition.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, but she's got everything she needs in here. So
there's Krennic's extra line of whatever.
Oh yeah, he's
dots.
What did he just have
promoted?
Red to red and blue or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I love like the competition that they have here. Like it's just you can see like they just despise each other, and
right.
There's no.
Krennic is so maniacal too. He definitely set him up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's great.
Like Krennic is the third lead of this movie. We talked about this on the Unifying Force. It's
right.
Cassian, it's Jen, it's Krennic.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel he's a worthy big bad? Like, do you? I know when people think Star Wars big bads, they think of like Palpatine and Vader and the Inquisitors. But do you feel like Krennic is a threatening?
No, I don't think he is. I think he's just.
Mid-level.
I think he's more along the lines of an opportunist and somebody who has, I would probably say, lack of a better word, penis envy.
Yeah, Krennic is a climber.
Let's try with it. But I think he's promoted and pushed that way because of, silly fact, the wardrobe and the costuming, and that they've made him stand out in this pretentious cape and being off-white amid the sea of everything else. They just put him out there as that. And
he's meant to be a big douchebag
of showing him
stand out like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me so sad when Chirrut is having Baze describe what's left of their planet and their friends and family and fellow Guardians of the Wills. Just, it breaks my heart. And this is really cool, having Bodhi, who looked up to Galen, be able to meet Galen's daughter and be like, okay, this is really happening. We're really going to do this. So.
You have to assume that there have been so many witnesses. Like I think about the destruction of Camino and other examples where there have been large-scale military or destructive operations. But Bodhi can't be the only one. I wonder how many of them have actually not escaped, right? Been killed by the Empire. I mean, we saw it in the Rebels episode where the TIE fighters, some of the training ones have like auto shutdown, right? Like
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
Like they consider their pilots disposable. So it's possible that they're too afraid to speak up, but there must be witnesses to a lot of the crimes. And I think that's going to become a thing in Andor where someone on the inside from the Imperials will have like evidence of something like this happening, and it makes its way to Mon Mothma or to Draven or to Jan Dodonna or someone. And that's going to be a thing that they pull the string on.
Well, I think we could have like an entire series of explaining those Imperial deserters and that sort of thing. The band that in Rise of Skywalker that, you know, Billy D. Williams says that they're going to explore, you know, what happened, or there got to be
Janna.
Imperial anybody that team was native to Alderaan in the OT. After that, it's just like, no, we out. like, come on, tattoo me a rebel tier, and I'm on the other side now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, Finn is another deserter.
Right. Was
so anyone who
Dune
leaves
Imperial ever, or did she start as the rebellion because she was Alderaanian?
She was a shock trooper for the rebellion.
Yeah.
So.
But right, I don't think she was in the Imperial.
But like, where would her training have come from? Are we that? I guess by the Mandalorian, we're that far advanced, and she's young enough that she was original rebellion. She didn't get trained in the Empire.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds feasible. They did have child soldiers though in the Imperials, which is crazy.
But they did to in Starship Troopers as well. So I get that. But here's the thing: is why is Krennic surprised that Galen potentially is the mole, or there's an issue in Galen's thing, especially since the fact that, you know, so much has happened between them. He killed Lyra.
He thinks Jyn is dead too. So he thinks that Galen has nothing to live for, and therefore it's like totally given up on life and doesn't care what happens to anybody. Like he's been acting despondent. So there's no like him being
Galen
remorseless.
He doesn't know that she's alive, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think, but on the off chance, he just kind of holds out hope that she is alive.
Yeah, definitely, I would imagine that.
Yeah. Oh, tough.
Well, I think it's unclear. Like Bodhi being a pilot who defects could really come from anywhere, and I think Krennic is just so what's the word? Like he's so obnoxious and pretentious that he just doesn't even think it could be someone that
it's very much like that line that you hear in the recent trailer and stuff about them being so full of themselves.
Yeah.
Right. It couldn't possibly be someone from my division that did this, and it turns out it's like, oh my god, it's Galen Erso. How'd you not realize that? You had blinders on.
Yes, exactly.
There you go. Oh yeah, look at that. Just
I love how like Chirrut and Baze are so willing to, and even Bodhi, they're so willing to like, we got to rescue my father. It's our only hope of stopping the Death Star. And Cassian's just like, whatever. I trust no one. Everybody dies. If you're involved in the rebellion, the Empire, I'm taking you out. So you can see the difference between the two factions of Rogue One.
A different mindset.
See, K2, there you go. He knows what's up. To one blast, the whole system goes down.
Worst pilot, Wash or K2SO? I don't know.
Oh, too soon.
Wash is a great pilot.
Too soon, bro.
I will go with Watt from A Knight's Tale. Or Steve the Pirate.
Pirate Steve.
Or Hey
the chicken.
Hey is a wonderful pilot. It got right there to Tafiti. It was great.
Or the Duke of Weaselton.
Weselton.
And also Ludo from Star versus the Forces of Evil. I honestly before Rogue One came out, I met Alan Tudyk at New York Comic Con, and I got him to sign a Wash photo. And shamefully, he didn't have any like K2SO photos on his table, so it was either Wash or Pirate Steve or something else. or the guy from Knight's Tale. And I was asking him questions about Ludo and Rogue One, and he's like, I can't answer either of those. Disney won't let me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Star vs. the Forces of Evil was one of the best shows I ever watched.
I love that show.
Oh my god, it was so good.
Get on Disney Plus and
I'm
watch it.
kicking myself for not getting a Watt and Chaucer dual shot signed by Tudyk and Bettany in Orlando when they both did a celebration, because I definitely would have gotten a Knight's Tale, signed by them.
For shame.
I know.
I love it's so dark, I know, because it's Edu and it's raining and they have all these rocks around, but like
this is what we're complaining about.
Yeah, this was like the beginning of Star Wars being like really dark and the cinematography being difficult to see.
I really think it's this movie that when I saw in the theaters, and I saw in like a local cheap theater, but they suckered me in because they were offering the metal popcorn buckets.
Yes.
So I was there. Because I still have that and use that every time I have popcorn. So it's like, but I so couldn't see the movie, when I've watched it subsequently, like I'm watching it on my iPad now. There's so much more detail and things you can see.
Yeah.
Older projection system can't pick up all the nuance.
That's true. If they haven't updated their digital projector, it's hard to see.
What's up, Blake?
Different levels of contrast.
Hey, Blake.
Peter.
Hi, Peter.
So, friends just joining us, if you're in, we're at 1:01-ish. 1 hour 01.
I love that Chirrut wanted to follow Jyn because her path was absolute. Like she was going to save her father, whereas Cassian, he had that darkness over him.
Yeah, I mean, Chirrut is just so Kung Fu: The Legend Continues.
Okay, so I need some guidance because I have a Savvy's reservation for next Tuesday morning.
Yes. What do you? This is your first time.
Control.
The answer is yes. Just do it.
No, I booked it. I booked it. So
elemental in nature.
So yes, I'm excited about that. So
Peace and Justice. I got Peace and Justice, but I chose Power Crystal based on how many. Okay, I did an Doc Andar's look first to see how many they had of each color Kyber crystal.
Right.
And I picked the one that they had the least of. Because you can always swap it out. So I picked a purple one.
So. You did Power and Control, right, Mark?
Which one?
At Power and Control at Savvy's, you got the Sith saber.
Yeah, I did the red crystal.
Cool.
And I'm trying to remember.
Sort of like, is it like Vader-ish?
Yeah. Where's my?
So I think my advice, and take advice from someone who's never done it but just been watching everybody else and drooling. Is I would say just go and pick whichever one speaks to you on the day, but get some scrap metal at the same time so you can change it out and do what you want to later.
If they offer it, they don't always offer scrap metal. Sometimes they'll offer it for a while and then they'll stop. But scrap metal is definitely your best option. You buy, like Dave said, your ideal saber, and then everything else that you thought you wanted to add or you would like to have added if you had the opportunity to. Like if you're going to build a different style, grab that pommel or the emitter or whatever from the other stuff, and they all fit together. So
I plan on buying Sidious's Legacy saber as well while I'm there.
Ooh,
I need Obi-Wan's. Like, whoa.
I need the 3-pack of Obi-Wan's that just came out at D23.
I didn't even attempt to stand in a line for that at D23.
Nope. $500.
Question,
no.
$550 plus tax. So that's
got it.
For what they'll do if they did what they did with the Leia saber is when they come out with each one of those individually.
Yeah.
Right. No box. Yeah. They already have at least one or two.
See, the only thing that's keeping me from getting the Leia one is the fact that it's notoriously falling apart.
Yeah,
the stuff that is peeling.
Get it from Hasbro for that one because it's just gorgeous.
Black Series.
Ooh.
Okay, this scene is me trying to unpack the U-Haul in the pouring rain on Tuesday and shove everything into my storage unit and then drive it
and
back
get it in the house before the Death Troopers standing over watching.
Shoot your movers. Oh, that's great.
My brothers-in-law like saved my butt. Like
Yeah, they did.
Shout out to Al and John because I wouldn't have been able to do that without them. So
Well, it's great you had the help, because that kind of stuff is such a
yeah.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, now he cares.
The scene goes.
Now was
through so many
Bodhi taking the
different,
black box there? Just you see him like run away with a black case.
I just noticed that, and
Yeah.
That's something he had to connect to something.
Is that the black box that
that they had to steal in the transmission shop? Space
Yeah.
transmissions.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they're actually going to reveal the box in Andor. Like, what is it? Is it? I would assume it's something like a black box from a ship, because in Rebels they have a heist where they have to get the hyperdrive from the TIE Defender, and that's like a whole thing because you can get all sorts of data out of there. So it could be a hyperdrive or something like that.
It kind of gives me a
larger
vibe like the stuff that they steal in this movie. Those, hard drive looking things.
Or if you want a larger discussion on this, go back and tune in to this weekend's episode of the Unifying Force, because we talk about this for a good while.
Yes, there was something that I wanted to mention this earlier, and I forgot. Catherine had mentioned something about Cassian and Mon Mothma, and how she thinks they're not going to meet until the very end of the season. And I had not thought of that, because Cassian is new to the rebellion and needs to like prove himself to be a member, and Mon Mothma has to keep her identity as a rebel secret.
Right.
Like, she's publicly a senator. No one should know she's secretly working for the rebellion other than Bail Organa and whoever her other inner circle is. So that's now they may cross paths at some point, sort of inadvertently, but like even that would then be too suspicious. So you almost wonder if like the final shot is him meeting Mon Mothma. And I had not thought of that. And when Catherine said it, I was like, that's how they should script the show. Like, I was immediately like, not only
brilliant.
is that a great, like, unraveling of like what needs to happen for this to work, I think they should do it. And if they haven't done it, if they're listening, go re-edit it now. Like that is the right answer. So I feel like Catherine was like right on in a way that like I was like cheering in the car when I was listening. It was like right on.
He's going to be being vetted by the Sarsgaard character for a good portion
for a while.
Skarsgård's amazing. Like,
but the thing is, next thing you know, Skarsgård's going to take a big staff and try to open up a portal, and then all of a sudden these Rhodians are going to be flying through, from the Stark Tower.
Okay, Krennic gets the crap kicked out of him in this entire movie, and somehow just keeps going. So when
he goes from
he's
a glutton for punishment, because first he gets whipped by Tarkin, and then Jyn and Cassian, and now he's going to go cry to Vader. Like, how is any of that?
Shot by Lyra in the shoulder, like
off
the bat.
Yeah, that's
He's been
shot
by Lyra. He's been shot by everybody in the show. It's like,
and then
I think he
Jyn
secretly likes S&M.
Here's the thing. He's so that guy. He would so be that guy. I find him exhausting in every way, though. Like, he's the perfect villain because he's just so tedious. Like, everything about him. Like, even the other villains don't like him.
Sorry, you guys. I just need.
Yeah. I feel like I've watched it so many times that it doesn't emotionally resonate anymore. I'm like, that's sad.
Yeah. Well, it's like, if I had the sound up and I was more engaged, I think I'd be more apt to feel that way.
To feel the feelings. I remember seeing this in the theater, like, especially being a licensee. I remember thinking, I was like, they've really done it. Like, Force Awakens was great in the way that like it did what it needed to do. This movie was just, it felt like such a departure, and everything was executed the way we wanted as like adult fans. And it scenes like this that really deliver.
Yeah, so this I think might really have felt like the first Star Wars movie that wasn't Lucas's original intent of a kids movie.
Yeah, this felt really adult.
Right.
And he also, like, poor Galen, he just landed in the most uncomfortable way on that grave.
Yeah, he was sitting there like
his leg is all bent, and I'm like,
I'm not dead yet.
'Tis but a scratch.
I'll do you for that.
Somehow Gate returned.
Sorry,
Okay.
that scene hits me harder.
That's fine.
I had a
I'm
student
okay
today
if
tell
Galen
me-
returns. I am okay. But
I would love
think about
that.
this. Star Wars is Galen's revenge.
I like that.
Legacy. He's
There you
Bodhi,
go.
the pilot.
Retitle it because it doesn't really, fit. Is episode 4 Galen's Revenge?
Sorry, George. We're doing this for you.
Well, it's more believable than A New Hope.
The Return of Stardust.
But that's what rebellions are built on.
Yes.
A New Hope.
Oh, she's pissed. She's hurting and she's pissed.
That didn't go as we
Oh.
discussed.
Cassian, you are. I did not like Cassian at the start of this movie, you guys. Like,
At least, him killing his connection in that first scene, just kind of
Yeah.
gives you a lot of negative
So,
vibes.
how many Purina logos are we going to see in Andor?
Which logo?
The Purina logo.
The,
The cat
Dog
cat
food?
food.
the little
the
checkerboard.
thing on
Yes.
the-
Yeah.
Oh,
patch.
You're in shock and looking at you. Shut up. You were gonna kill her father, you punk bitch.
Man,
No,
well, he
sorry.
didn't. He didn't though.
No, he didn't. But
Yeah.
he called in the rebellion.
His weapon was in the sniper configuration.
No, but you still called people in to do the job. No, sorry. I'm still bitter towards I love him now, but
yeah.
this just reminds me of you were gonna kill her dad. Yeah, you disobeyed the orders, but the rest of the
I
rebellion didn't.
think,
Oh, here it is. Here's the line.
yeah, but the
Oh.
thing is, you might as well have been a stormtrooper. He would have missed anyway.
It is going to be interesting to see how much of their childhood they cover in Andor, because obviously he's going to have dead parents. At 6 years old, his village is going to be destroyed. His parent or whatever.
Marva, Fiona Shaw's character is Marva Andor, so that's either his mother or grandmother. She when
Interesting.
I was watching the behind the scenes stuff that they have on Disney Plus, and it says Marva Andor when she's talking.
Interesting.
So,
But we've already
Nice.
seen in that last trailer that was with the IMAX that they flash back to presumably him as a kid. So you might be in there.
Val's 6 years old.
Yeah.
it might even be some
I'm-
other member of his family that dies.
Sure.
So.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think we'll meet the parents. I think they'll be in the show for the same way with the
Yeah,
Mandalorian. The parents are there, but I think that'll be the triggering event, right?
It'll
his
be big.
home world being taken over. But I'm curious to see how much time they spend with him as a young child, as opposed to Cassian being played by Diego Luna.
Right.
I wouldn't
Oh,
mind
yeah.
there to be
So Vader.
flashbacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, this just shows you how extra Anakin is. It's okay, let's build this giant temple on the place where I got my arm and legs cut off.
Okay,
is
if I
a
had the
dramatic
extra money,
memory.
if I had the extra money, I would buy that statuette they have in Doc Ongar's of
There's some amazing stuff there if you had the money, for sure.
'cause
Yeah, it
Seriously.
was very pricey.
Things I should have bought is the Temple Guard mask and the Temple Guard
Yeah.
saber. I'm still kicking myself, but I'm just glad I got the Calicori.
because on Tuesday I'm doing the morning into early afternoon at Hollywood Studios, then taking the Skyliner over to Epcot to do Around the World
Nice.
for food and wine,
Food and wine.
and hopefully
Fight
do.
people with that saber when he's done.
Well, I'm gonna ship that home from Droid Depot. I'm not gonna carry it over there, but I'm gonna try to get on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Try to book that first thing in the morning because that's what I'm doing
If they
when I go in
if they
October.
let me, because I'm not gonna be getting on to Epcot until 2.
Well, they updated the Disney Genie, so you should be able to do it in the morning.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
Genie
I'll send you the link
Usually
for that later.
The later option is your only one, but who knows?
And then
amazing.
Thursday
I'll send you the update
we're
video later.
Okay. on Thursday we're doing both Universal parks.
Nice. Very cool.
Dude, this Vader is still a little bit too fast for me.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
the Vader in Obi-Wan was. He's got like a little. This has got like a little bit more of a strut. It's like no, Vader should be.
In Obi-Wan, he was too bouncy.
Yeah.
He has more of a smooth
Blame
stride,
Hayden.
you know.
Someone had the remote control, was pushing it forward like way too much on his robotic legs.
Yeah. But he just needs to be slower and just like, I've got
more determined, like, and less.
You need to
less
put
in a hurry.
Sam Jackson in the Vader suit. There you go. That's how he can return. Give it.
Somehow Mace returned.
Uh,
But I'm looking forward to seeing what we get of that in Tales. That'll be
Yeah.
kind of
I'm
close.
very excited about that. That look
I'm
of
excited
young
about
Dooku.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
makes
and
me
Liam.
think, will we also
Liam
see
doing the voice of Qui-Gon.
yeah, that was super cool. Will we see Jocasta Nu? Because young Dooku and Jocasta Nu have history. And so if we're really doing Tales of the Jedi, we should see a lot of Jedi. We saw a lot in the little clip, right? Like there's Obi-Wan and Anakin and Yoda and Mace. Ahsoka obviously has her own episodes.
Is
But
Krennic
yeah, I'm
getting-
excited about young Dooku.
Squeeze it. Squeeze it.
Now,
Krennic
see, a
doesn't
lot
know
of
when to
people
quit.
didn't like that. A lot of
No,
people
I thought it was
told
very
himself
cheesy.
again right there.
Neither does Spencer Wilding, who is not in any of these scenes in the movie, but yet he's
Oh, here it is. This is my
every one of those
other like
pictures.
favorite scene, like the staff meeting with everyone who
Oh,
can't
yeah.
get along. A lot of these people signed
Yeah.
autographs for us, by the way, too. Like, and so we did multiple sets for Rogue One. Like, we were following the structure where there was a preview set months before, like the Journey 2 kind of time period, and then a series 1 when the movie dropped in December, and then a series 2 in like March. And we were able to then put the whole story and get all the background people. So a lot of these people all around here, including Admiral Radis and Ben Daniels, who's Blue Leader, a bunch of the senators, they all signed autographs for us. It was pretty cool. So we got a nice like wide list. Some of the pilots, and then we just kept sprinkling in more and more.
And
you know,
Pamela,
as more sets.
Pamela, the woman with the shawl, she's in Dune. She's she's
Oh, that's right. She's the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the Fremen doctor, and she's
Yeah.
brilliant in that movie. So it was so cool to see her come from Rogue
I
One
forgot
into
that was
that.
her.
So
Yeah. That's very cool. She explains the still suit, which we're working on at
Yes.
Ruby's actually. So Ruby's has the license for Dune costumes.
Oh.
So I'm working on that right now for Paul. And then once we land Paul's, we'll then adjust for Yanni. Yanni? Yeah.
Well, you have the
Zendaya.
nose
I keep calling her Zendaya. So I like Chani. I
Chani,
like literally forget like character names because I do it all the time. So I've been talking about the Timothy costume at work, and everyone's like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
yeah.
So yeah, it's Paul.
Yeah.
I love how this scene has such a 70s kind of look and feel to it with all the actors and the
Yeah.
sort of the setup. Except for it's much darker, like
It's-
you
yeah,
mentioned
definitely.
earlier, than it would have been if it was a 70s.
They brought in the
Yeah,
good
maybe-
facial hair.
Yeah, we need a
Yeah.
lava lamp and a shag
And
carpet.
the imperfections and the the British stiff upper lip look and some of the people.
Yeah.
And
And I
I'm
love how
enjoying
this
our-
is. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say I'm enjoying our array of facial hair. Jeff's got the longest of beards, which is actually shorter than it's usually been. Spencer's got a goatee situation. Dave's beard, is that a goatee or is that like a really
It's a
good
handlebar.
handlebar
It's a
mustache?
handlebar. I
It's
just
handlebar
haven't-
mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got full scruff in, but it's hard to see in my camera. But like I'm pretty scruffy right now. But yeah, there's quite the collection of 70s inspired facial hair in like the lineup of men for this movie, including a lot of just single mustaches.
And this is what wax is
Oh, yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Sorry.
the anti-mustache.
Yeah.
So they just decided they're not going to fight, and it's like, well, the movie's over, kids.
Yeah.
Like it's over.
I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
General
gather your
Syndulla, please report to the briefing room.
Amazing.
Love it.
I'm excited to see her in the Ahsoka show. It's going to be so good.
Please be Vanessa. Please.
It's not. I'm not going down this road. Like I don't think that anyone from animation is going to live action. And they if the casting of Taylor is true or Ezra,
Not Taylor.
like it's not Taylor. It's not, so
Iman
far it's
as
not
Spock.
been Taylor.
Here's the thing, though. If you look at the card that Natasha got for her birthday on set,
I showed you.
it was signed by Vanessa Marshall.
Sure. You know what? Voice, and there could be because think about like
Matt Lanter.
Misty Roses and Nick Nolte bring to life the character of Queel.
Yep.
In theory, you can have a stunt woman performer and then overlay Vanessa's voice for Hera if you wanted to do it that way, or she's just gonna do the voice of some. She does extra voices. She's credited in Rogue One. Vanessa Marshall's in Rogue One. Her voice is in this movie, as is I think Ashley and a few other people.
You could roll a Ming Na from Mulan, and it's her mother.
Yeah, like there's I think there's a lot of different ways to get these characters in, which is why I really hope we see Ashley Eckstein in some type of Ahsoka, like in some kind of way. Like I think that'd be very cool. We now know that Janina Gavankar is playing the mom, which obviously the mom won't be around in the Ahsoka show, but like there could be a voice in a flashback. Ahsoka could have another friend of her species that she talks to, and it could be Ashley. Like there's another lady in the village, like someone really important, but doesn't have to do very much and shows up once and then goes away. But now you can like sign as that character as well, and you're in the show.
But I
think that would be good.
Do you think it's gonna be Ramona Flowers playing Hera?
I don't know.
Mrs. McGregor.
I don't know. There's so many names floating out there that I honestly I was wrong about Ezra. I thought they were going to cast the Aladdin guy because that had been.
He thought so too.
Yeah, he came out. He's like,
I saw.
At
That's
least
how
now
I
can talk about. I didn't get it.
Yeah,
but,
I didn't see the casting first.
Sad.
I saw his tweet about how he wasn't cast.
And of course, I had to make a huge deal of it.
I would.
For me, it's like
excuse me, it's perfect.
I have no skin in this game, right? Like because I'm not involved. I'm not a talent agent, and I'm not fan casting. Other than the fact that I've said repeatedly that I want Matt Smith as Thrawn, I really just want them to cast good people. And I have not seen, like, I'm not in that room to see who our choices are. Like we fan cast all the time, and honestly, there might be someone much better for Thrawn than Matt Smith.
Here's something that's very interesting. So I met Jason Palmer at Fan Expo Boston this past year. And we had a long conversation about the celebration banner from Chicago 19. I said, okay, honestly, was Pierce Brosnan your inspiration for Thrawn? He's like, yes. He's like, I can actually go on record to say, yes, it was. And I actually brought Timothy Zahn over to it and said, what's your thoughts? And he was like, good call. That was Jason Palmer putting it onto the world to make Pierce Brosnan Thrawn.
And my friend Ray is his model for Hera in that piece.
That's
Ray
awesome.
Krennic. So she was really excited to be involved in that. So
was she the one who did Joe's
Ahsoka?
The one I had signed by Matt and Ashley?
Yes, that's Ray Krennic. She's amazing. Her Ayla Secura fan film is like she's Ayla. She looks amazing in that too. So
Jason had a really good concept that he was supposed to do for Anaheim this past year that he was unable to get done, but he's got some good stuff. Good guy.
Yeah,
loves Gina Carano. That's all I'll say about that. I got an earful.
So there's
she's enjoying her new movie career. I saw the Captain
Antilles
Antilles thing. That was cool.
New movie career and the Ben Shapiro story.
Yeah, she's the FBI agent who like gets creepily touched on the shoulders. It's such
a whole Hunter.
You could have had it all, lady. Yeah. And then I'm not watching it. I read the description and I was like, this is embarrassing for everyone involved. I will say her autographs are going to be worth a lot because she'll never sign officially again in licensed product. So the Topps cards that when I was at Star Wars Authentics that we had her sign before she was a persona non grata, those will increase in value.
I can't sell her pops. I have all of her pops. I can't sell them.
That's why I got rid of them before this happened.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Some guy in
Oh, cool.
Alaska bought mine.
Yeah, like, have that. If you want them, you can have them. It's that or the trash, because I'm certainly not going to display anything like that. I think we're at the point where we can say she's terrible, right? Like we're past that point where we have to be nice about anything. So she's awful, and good riddance to her.
I want that scene to be added into season 3 where she's flying and boom, you're dead.
Back to her home planet and her ship explodes Poochie style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the scene. Like Jen
I don't even think you need
of-
to explain it. Oh yeah, she's got. Oh yeah, the stupid crystal. Thanks for nothing. It's worth nothing, Mom. I'm still poor. So,
there you go.
It's a kyber crystal.
Yeah.
I have no parents and no cash. Thank you.
Does nothing.
Yeah. Well, the mom. So this is where the visual dictionary, and sometimes we get licensee information that's interesting, and sometimes we'll put it on like trading cards. The mom wears this red sash, Lyra, because she really trusts in the Force. She's not a Jedi, but she like studies everything about the Jedi and is a real believer in the Force and all of that.
So was she a guardian of the Wills, like kind of in training?
I don't think quite there, but
Not
like
there.
one of those
She was
where
into
like
Kabbalah.
like imagine being Catholic, but you're not a priest. So if the Jedi are priests, you can be a Catholic. I think she's a Catholic, right? Like that would be the comparison. Whereas like, she really like believed and like studied and all that stuff. We could pull up probably her official bio on like Wookiee, because I'm sure Wookiee has published all that info that's like from the visual dictionary. But that red sash was like super important to her costuming because it indicated that.
That's
and
cool.
The crystal was a part of it too. And I was like, but also again, thank you for nothing. Like the Force is obviously real in this universe and it matters a little bit, but like Jin doesn't have the Force. So it's like, what am I gonna do with this thing?
Ahsoka says hi.
Kitty.
Sell it to a Padawan who can't find his own.
Hi, Ahsoka.
There you go.
Well, you're right. That could be a market now that Jedda's completely gone. And
Yeah.
you're going to get a crystal. It's like,
There's no crystals.
You need a lightsaber. Here we go.
And Saw blew up the one that the rebels were trying to get. So
Yeah, we just watched that episode where there was a giant kyber crystal the size of this room that Saw Gerrera blows up, which Ezra had mixed feelings about. We also saw how Ezra got his crystal, and I'm sort of giving it a pass, but it really breaks canon. Like Yoda materializes it out of nowhere, and it like evaporates or like appears in like the Jedi temple and just is handed to Ezra. And I was like, you didn't have to go to Ilum and nearly die.
what the heck?
Fight that.
Or like find somebody old, like be directed or called to an old lightsaber and recycle a crystal, or there are many other ways that could have gone down.
Yeah.
But yes, this
I love that line.
A very inspiring speech by Jen here to rally the troops.
Make 10 men feel like 100.
Yeah.
Love it. I went to
It's
I went to Lucasfilm on a tour back in, I think it was 2019 before the pandemic. And there's a Rogue One poster in the hallway that Gareth Edwards has written all over and said like, too dark. Who is this guy, pointing to Vader's helmet? What's wrong with his hair? Things like that. And it's really fun to I took a photo of it. I'll have to show you guys in the chat, but like, it's such a funny poster and it's right in the hallway next to like a prototyped Roger Rabbit and the bullet and the guns from the little bullets and the gun from Roger Rabbit.
Character.
Yeah. So it was, you turn a corner and it's like right there. And I'm like, this is amazing.
It's just down there.
Oh crap.
Dr. Krennic.
Yeah, I keep the manifest in the basement.
You're gonna get beat up. This like whole layout for the gate is just like incredible. It's one of like my favorite like fight scenes in Star Wars is over this gate.
Weird flashback.
I was saying that
to episode 1 for me though, with those donut ships and stuff.
Yeah, and just force fields in general, the way they're used so extensively in Battle of Naboo. Yeah, before Ashley got here, I think we were talking about our favorite battles, and I was saying Battle of Scarif is my number 1, and it's because it happens at 3 levels. It's ground, it's air, it's space, and all 3 of them work, and they work well together, and they tell a great story. And there are real stakes, and like a lot of people die, but like
main
the stakes
characters
feel
die.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah. even though I joke as I always do, like the stakes couldn't be lower because we all know it's gonna happen. But like, oh my god, so many people die, and you know, it's also just executed perfectly. It's executed so well. I also found out some really interesting things. This is another thing where I don't know if it's like it's public knowledge, but like how many people really know it because it's not explicitly stated in the movie. Scarif is one of those places where like Imperials would go to retire. Like this is your Florida assignment when you're done being a cop for 40 years. So like you're here guarding like the Citadel, which is like filled with, it's the library, and so you're on library duty. Nothing happens. No one's getting through the gate. So even though it's like a high security area, there's no action. So everyone's out of practice. So at one point when director Krennic is going to say later, be like, what are you doing standing around? Activate the garrison. Like they don't even know what to do because they're like, what? An intruder got in? Like they're all just out of practice.
How? Yeah.
Yeah. It makes no sense. So that's why like everything, it feels like they get overwhelmed, I think, really easily. And it's because they're all past their prime.
You're absolutely
That's
right.
why everyone in there is so old too. Yeah. They also make it a point to put a lot of old men in that room.
Things like this is like, you know, Jen's dressed as like the baton trooper. Aren't you a little short for a baton trooper?
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Oh, here comes some familiar territory, possibly.
Hey, yeah, yes. Actually, when I went with Frank to go see the movie, I'm like,
look.
Did you guys go there in London to?
I wasn't there at that time.
The next one is probably where the going there will be.
But I mean, I think you know, there's enough people in here that it's going to be announced this Saturday in a graphic. But Bunta 4 is in Canary Wharf within walking distance of the underground station.
Lots of
Photo ops down there.
So,
if you have Rogue One cosplayers, make sure you take photos.
That was just like, you know, kismet in that capacity that we ended up going to Canary Wharf and had been that close to a Star Wars filming location. You know, for us to be able to do Bunta
element, just
in that area.
Awesome.
So,
I love the variety of troopers we get in this. You know,
Yeah.
Standard stormtroopers. You know, we've got the sand troopers.
Yep.
Oh, it's too late, buddy.
Could you please pull out Galen Urso's browsing history?
That's
Store troopers.
I love the concept of where this is. It's like they either diverted all the rivers and oceans to make it like a cooling tower for whatever machinery they've got going, or they decided to build this in the middle of Niagara Falls.
damn, K2, you're savage.
Yeah.
Going to town on that other droid.
Download all your protocols.
Seems a very violent way, but it's just it's like so similar to what R2 does on a regular.
Yeah, but he never does it in the back of a droid's head. It's freaky.
That's why it seems so.
That's like a very Chopper thing to do.
Right. Murder droid.
Well, we were talking about this the other day, right? Is who's got more kill count, Chopper or R2?
Man.
I think you talked about that on Rebels Revisited, right? Because you're asking if R2 gets credit for the Death Star.
Yeah.
I would say no. I think that's fully Luke. R2 is not helpful.
You don't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, he seemed pretty disabled.
Well, he gets shot down.
Yeah, he gets shot. So,
yeah,
there it is. The deploy the garrison. So,
like, huh? What are we supposed to do? Are we?
Oh my god, it's great.
Are you blind?
I also R2 has all that time in the prequels with Anakin that I feel like we would need to go Clone Wars and really go through. But Chopper's also been with Hera, like Hera in the last episode you guys watched, like blew up an entire space station and killed Josh Gad and all of his idiots.
Yeah.
So Chopper had a lot to do with that. So does he get credit for that? I think yes. Yeah.
My friend Becca made a shirt. It's the top of Chopper's head and his claws, and in the shape of Chopper's head it says murder droid.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get that shirt. So.
Boom, boom.
Best murder droid ever.
That.
Yeah.
You just got shot in the face by a blind
Well,
guy.
I actually pulled out the variant Funko of Chopper when he was in the Imperial paint, because there is a version, a variant.
Yep,
So
the black one.
yeah,
I made sure to get both of them.
so there's 3 Chopper pops. There's two of them on the orange one, and one says Chop.
It's
and the other one says
misspelled.
Chop.
Yes, I have all 3.
I have all 3 as well. I did that
Yeah.
purposely. I went and bought all of them.
We actually got the Chop one first when I
Right.
worked at Noobs, and then Chopper I found in another location, and then I got the Imperial.
Well, the
paint job.
Imperial was a 2017 Funko from Celebration.
Oh, it's going down.
Oh, crap.
Does not help.
Nice mustache.
So that's Ben Daniels, Blue Leader. He's great. I watched a video that Star Wars Explained put together on him, and he's got quite a bit of training experience. And so his death in this movie apparently was like a big loss for the rebellion, because he had like helped build up all of the rebel pilots up to this point, which we would not know of, right? By watching this movie. Yeah.
And Target has his figure.
I also
met a guy who troops as a variation of Blue Leader. I met him at Celebration on Rise, and he just does that and has this persona with the big giant handlebar mustache twisted up on the end, like Montgomery Jack from Rescue Rangers, and his character name is something Montgomery.
Oh, Monterey Jack.
Monterey
Jack. Yes.
That's awesome.
The great Jim Cummings.
Yes.
Also in Star Wars.
Hondo.
Darkwing.
That's someone we could see in Andor. He's around. Hondo's always around. He has a
Oh my god!
smuggler.
I would freak out if Hondo
we need a live action Hondo.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
they
think
have
this will be
the
the spot. But...
No, wait. They have the actor in the Hondo makeup in Smuggler's Run, so it's entirely.
Well, they have the animatronic.
No, they have the animatronic, but on the video screen.
Oh yes.
And they also, when they introduced when they opened the park on the East Coast, they had Chewie, Hondo, probably Rey, and some other characters at the little opening ceremony. So they had the ability to put an actor, a cast member, in that costume and have them walk the actual land. Although that was
you should be able to meet Hondo at Black Spire the same way, because now you can meet Mando. And
which
Boba,
is not
and
not time appropriate to have Mando and Grogu walking around.
Well, there wasn't with Boba Fett either, or Fennec. But
Boba Fett's now
there
Boba Fett and Fennec are the current ones.
Well, actually, more so, because the thing is that's supposed to be, if they're supposed to be alive in the sequel time. Well, we don't know Mando is too, but yeah.
Oh my god.
It's not sequel time. They're saying that Black Spire has been around forever, and so Boba and Fennec being there in their own time period, that's why they only visit the marketplace. They don't go to where the TIE fighters landed. So there's a spot for them that's like good. That they exist because apparently Black Spire's been around forever.
Thing.
Yeah. So remember I was telling you about how they shot themselves in the foot? Time. Like they're now trying to backpedal, which fine by me. Like just throw in Mickey Mouse. I don't care. Like, can we please make it fun? Can you put something there to do? Yeah.
Gold Leader.
Yeah. Bring back Star Wars Weekends. What are we doing? Star Wars Weekends was amazing.
They have a place to do it technically, right?
Did anybody else notice the fact that in this movie they kill off Red 5?
Yes.
You have to.
Yes.
And Wedge Antilles' Red Leader is injured, which he broke his ankle or something, which is why he's not flying. And then, but he flies injured in A New Hope. So that's why he's not in Battle of Scarif.
These cockpit scenes all mixed together.
They planned and plotted ahead. This is
sent him on a mission earlier. So that's where he got his injury, right?
Yeah.
I just love these shots.
Close the gate. Ooh. Oh,
thread the needle.
Oh, here we go.
Oh no.
Oh,
can't hold her. She's breaking up.
Oh my gosh.
Snap doodle.
I love how the wreckage just sits on the energy shield.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's the first time you see that.
That impact.
Yeah. No, I would like to see live action Hondo played by Johnny Depp, but voiced by Jim Cummings.
I don't
So,
think Johnny Depp's vanity would
Mark
let
is
him do
just
that.
looking at me in disgust, going.
Yeah, because
Well,
you wouldn't see his face at all. You just
I
get
don't
his
want to
name.
do anything Johnny Depp, so I'll.
They could
you
put
know,
anybody who they have play Jack
Yeah.
Sparrow into that costume though, and get some similar
That
mannerisms.
kind of.
Sure. I also think like we've got a lot of great stunt actors in the family now, and we've
Yeah.
seen it from a lot of the creatures. Yeah, but I agree that like Jim Cummings should do the voice. So if we can figure out
He is the voice, so
that, yeah, he's that character. I would love to see him in the Ahsoka show because he and Ahsoka go back, right?
Right.
Like and Obi-Wan. Like I'm like of all the randos to not pop up in Obi-Wan, like I really thought like, you know, they're gonna throw in Hondo just to mess with us because we saw Cad Bane in Boba Fett. Like I was like, come on, Hondo. We're waiting for him. We're waiting for Barriss Offee. We're waiting for a lot of people. And it's like TikTok guys.
right.
Meanwhile, Bad Batch got moved to 2023. We saw
Yeah.
you guys already
What
talked
the
about the
hell?
slate updates. Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's September. There's no way they were going to run two Star Wars shows at the same time. It doesn't make
Well,
Yeah,
they
sense.
you're
are.
right.
From
They're
the
doing that in
you know,
October.
Then they're gonna run
They're putting the other one in.
Tails is
Tales-
going to be in
They're gonna
October.
drop all tails
Tales
at
of the
once.
Jedi.
Yeah.
But that
Maybe they can
comes
only
in-
do one animated series at a time, and they figured that was the short one, so
Yeah.
they just get it
I'll-
out of the way.
I also think it's like not really a series. Like I
No,
don't know
yeah,
what
it's
they're
like a
doing
bunch
with
of
this.
It's
Yeah.
two
It's
stories broken up
anthology
into
short story
shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there better be a real anthology coming. Like I really want this to be 100 episodes across all the Jedi. I've already screamed about this on Rebels Revisited, where I'm like,
Yeah.
like just yeah. But I'm excited about everything that's coming, and I don't mind that things are getting bumped. We have a lot of content right now that's hard to keep up with, and I don't like it when multiple shows are on at once. I actually wish they would finish She-Hulk and then move into Andor. Like I don't mind it going from Marvel to Star Wars to Marvel to Star Wars. Like give us some breathing room. Because it was terrible to have to deal with Obi-Wan and Ms. Marvel on the same day at the same time. Like that was horrendous.
I just watched the one that people weren't talking about as much, and that was, I'm sorry to say it because I loved it, but Miss Marvel was the one that had the least chance of being spoiled. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Ms. Marvel a lot. But obviously that was not gonna beat out
Also-
Obi-Wan in terms of views.
we are all Iman Vellani meeting Harrison Ford.
Oh, that
like
was a
she
great
was just like,
picture.
that would be the face that I would make, just losing my mind.
I like her a lot. She went toe to toe with
Great
Kevin, and
for a
she was
true
like,
fan.
"No." She's like, "This is not the 616." I was living for that. Like she knows her stuff, which I like when because you know then you hear Gwyneth and she's like, "Oh, I was in SpiderMan." Like that's the kind of thing where I was like, Jesus Christ, lady! Like you get paid $100 million to stand there, know the woman know the movie you're in.
No, the
Like-
franchise
like-
you're in, girl.
Yeah,
like,
I get it
Chuck,
that
they
she
said
thinks
they
she's in
filmed that
Iron
one
Man and she thinks she's in Avengers, and like she tacked in for like 30 seconds into the Spider-Man movie. I get it, but also like I would have my filmography like printed on a board just as a reminder. Like
Some sort of poster remnant of it.
some
love
of
that.
that.
That a lot
Shaft
when I'm
thing
going
that-
to. Go ahead.
Because the whole Death Star shaft with Obi-Wan vibe, and then the
Yeah.
shaft and Bespin. There's a lot of throwback kind of feels.
Okay, so
this
they
is like a
talk about
crane
light.
game.
They talk about light speed tracking here,
Yes.
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
brought back in the Last Jedi.
Yeah, Last
Right.
Jedi. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in there.
There's a lot.
Stardust is obviously the code name for this project, but there's a lot of things that become Easter eggs that are in the Tarkin book.
Yeah.
The Tarkin novel talks a lot about stuff that's in here.
That whole system reminds me of like the video playing system from Hackers.
Yes, I was thinking the outer limits.
Yep. And when
Look at how
Andrew
great
did
these space
video-
battles look.
Oh yeah.
These are just incredible.
Yeah.
Me too.
There's Gold Leader.
You jerk.
And
Well,
they
yeah, he's so
kind
rude
of-
in Rebels. Oh my god,
So
it's so
rude.
funny. We're like, we hate you, Gold Leader.
Mhm.
They really
Meanwhile, Angus
kinda
McGinnis
do
in real
well
life is the
getting
nicest.
the
Yeah,
flying
sorry.
going. Is they fly more like they show the real pilots flying in Top Gun in this. If you're going to take that bank and go down, it's not like they nose over this way. They nose over that way.
There's so many TIE fighters in this scene. Holy cow. They just come
Get
out like
rid of the-
bees.
Ocean. They needed more of this scene, this stuff on the beach.
And I think the original cut had that. It's just
Yeah.
Never
some
see
reason-
that wide shot of the white troopers walking through the
water.
blue water
Yeah.
that was all over the billboards everywhere.
There's so much missing.
So it'd be great to see that stuff just in some form at some point, behind
So
the.
there's our new T-shirt, Spencer. Rogue One, the Snyder Cut. Really,
The Snyder Cut.
7 hours long.
The Snyder Cut has ruined everything. I mean, I think that it's a terrible lesson that like the worse you are as a fandom, you will get rewarded for it. I think it's just a terrible lesson, and I wish they hadn't released it.
You want the original cut of Solo?
No. Because it wasn't done.
Yeah,
so
I think
you
Ron
need to
Howard
spend
did the best
$20
he
million
could.
to finish it. I don't need that noise. Like that's the kind of thing where it's like the thing is there was no Snyder Cut. Like he spent $40 million more to make the Snyder Cut. He made a new movie. So that for me, look, the Josh Whedon version was terrible, but they should have just scrapped it and like just made a sequel.
Now, do you feel like that's why they took away Batgirl from the directors, just to make sure that they wouldn't be able to do the director cut of Batgirl in the future?
No, I don't. I think those are two separate issues. I think the issue is that like the DCEU needs to get it together. Let's start there. Like they have had middling successes and not a clear vision. There is no Kevin Feige at the top, and everyone thought it should have been Snyder. But I'll be honest, I never thought his stuff was that great. So come at me. But like his stuff is fine, but like he's not Kevin Feige.
Black Saber.
Yep.
Yep. I think the DCEU is unfocused. Their TV is excellent. Their movies are not. And they haven't figured out a way to like they don't know how to build their end game. Like they're all of a sudden there's a Justice League. And I was like, out of what? Like they spent years forming Avengers over on the Marvel side. So
it seemed like
I actually didn't mind it when I saw it in the theater because I went in with low expectations. I was like, okay, at least I was entertained by it.
I was not.
But it was still better than Wonder Woman 84.
Wonder Woman 84 was really disappointing. Because like the first Wonder Woman was probably the better of all the movies individually, better than Man of Steel, better than
great flick.
Yeah. So then 84 being really disappointing, like, and I get it, like COVID, etc. But just no.
Weird vibe from beginning when I first heard it. Like, why are they doing it?
But also like what Kevin Smith said was that people forget it's Batman v Superman. It was Batman versus Superman, and no one talks. They all call it Batman and Superman. It's versus.
It was Dawn of Justice, which was so bad that like Wonder Woman stole that movie in the 3 minutes she was in it. Yeah. Like that should tell you something.
Oh no!
Yeah, there's your DCEU showrunner is Frank Miller. Really, the late Denny O'Neil, who just kept DC going forever, that would have been your perfect person. But
yeah. Because you could weave a cohesive story to get you to what ultimately became like the Zack Snyder Justice League. Like the fight against Darkseid can be the Thanos Endgame kind of thing, but like you need to build to that, and they just threw it at us in like movie number 3. It was really disappointing.
I think they went way too far the other way, trying to not copy Marvel, which they should have copied Marvel because they did it the right way. They tried to throw everything at you in the first movie and then build in the backstory instead of what Marvel did, which was
they're like, we'll introduce Flash and Justice League and then he gets his own movie. Like they went the reverse. Which in theory, like, if you're talking war games, how do you do things differently than your opponent? On paper, that might make sense. However, and also Flash, everyone knows who Flash is. You've got a TV show, you got comics, you have the cartoons, like he's not an unknown character. But like, the movies just weren't that good. And now we're at a point where I think WB's bigger issue is being part of HGTV, and it's all about profit margin. So if they were spending money recklessly, air quotes, beforehand, all of that's going away. So, and because the DCEU has been so unfocused, we don't need this project. We don't need this project. This isn't going to be profitable. It's just gone. So now there is no direction. It's just what movies do we think are going to be literally profitable on their own, regardless as to whether they ladder up to a larger story down the line. So it's more short-term versus long-term.
I just want to know what kind of a train wreck Batgirl was that you don't think bringing Keaton back as Batman is going to get viewership. Because I don't care how bad the movie is, we will flock to see it for Keaton in the Batsuit.
Yeah, I mean, even Batman versus Superman made like $500 million at the box office, and it was bad. So the question becomes like, do you think it was actually going to be equity destroying? Like, could this movie have set like
nothing could be as negative as what actually happened to them because they, axed that stuff. So
well, that's what's so funny. They were trying to save. I forget what the number was, but I saw the financial analysis publicly, by the way. This isn't anything like behind the scenes. They were like, oh, we were trying to save like, $500 million in spend across whatever. And then in doing so and removing all these projects and all these cancellations, and we're talking across TV, animation, movies, a lot of POC stuff, a lot of women-led stuff, a lot of small-time projects that like added up, all the bad press and everything. The market cap decline in value was 7 or 8 times the amount of savings they were getting from canceling those projects. So like full backfire, right? Like if you're the CEO, like that's a bad strategic move financially. And I think like from an art form perspective too, it's just, it's really sad.
It's bad for the whole,
Oh, there it is. Oh,
yeah. Brendan Fraser said this is the canary in the coal mine. Like if a movie that big with those types of stars can get canceled for tax purposes, and it can be fully deleted, like there's no evidence of your artwork, like that's bad. And it means that like the entire industry has shifted in a way that I don't know how we recover from. And look, me working on licensed products, I don't like to hear this stuff. We need movies to be hits. We need TV shows to be interesting and engaging. We need people to care about the properties. So that's why I'm
having everybody watch Sandman, because I need my season 2.
I'm nervous. Like I keep seeing more and more that like it needed to do much bigger numbers, and it's the kind of thing where it's like, how many more people can watch? Like how expensive was the show that you?
It was 15 million an episode.
Like I don't.
But just less than Stranger Things. It's half of Stranger Things' budget. But
there's that, and it's like, okay, why is Stranger Things getting that type? Maybe it's more of like they deserve it
Kate
because
Bush.
of everything they've.
over and over and over.
All the budget went to Kate Bush.
You guys,
they didn't pay her that much, but like she's
made a lot of money,
a ton of money on all of the.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no,
Cheer.
Funny.
Cheer saves the day.
Oof.
Cheer has a very C-3PO and R2 walking through the firefight at the beginning of A New Hope vibe for me right there, where he's just sort of strolling through and nothing's hitting him, but he's got other things going on more than the droids just not getting hit.
When Cassian hit that bar on the way down, I really thought he broke his back. Like I thought he was paralyzed. I was like, that's it. He's done.
After we see them take out K2SO, and you get that vibe that things are declining,
you start seeing that,
and everybody's going to start to drop. Yeah. You get this one. You think you already got one from Cassian if you didn't already. It's just it starts to domino.
Yeah. I will say going in, I assumed no one was making it out, even though I wanted there to be potential for spin-offs, more movies. And in theory, like anyone could just be somewhere else. Like they don't all need to die. I was like, oh, they're going to make it clear that like these people are not coming back.
Well, if you look at it right there, I mean, unfortunately the sequel came out first, but it was kind of like you had all these characters and you had this, throwaway storyline that came out of a crawl initially from John Knoll's idea. What were you going to get coming out of it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, someone joked that this is a way to cover up a plot hole 40 years later, with the Death Star self-destruct button, basically. And look, again, fine by me. I think this is a great story. We can joke about it, but like it's a terrific movie. It's a great story, and it never bothered me that like there was such a small thing that blew up the original Death Star. Like that was never a problem for me. I know other people are like about it. Like that does not bother me.
Yeah.
or like Stewie, who was trying to get estimates for plywood to be put over to the ventilator shaft.
Put it over the hole. Yeah. It's like, wait, there we go. Oh, we've got
Bodhi to the rescue again.
Yeah, take down the shield gate,
Bodhi,
which they should have been trying to do this whole time anyway.
They were
Like-
just firing directly at the shield. They should be firing at the mechanism surrounding
Yeah,
the shield that will
exactly.
take it out.
Yeah, let's
Like,
try
it's
and take
not
out
going to
an
work that
energy-
way.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't
Logic.
been playing Spot Samantha all episodes.
Oh,
So
no.
See, I don't know who I don't
know which one she
know who
is.
She is where.
well,
Yeah.
so I know when they're on
Multiple.
Jeddah. I mean, in the first scene before he shoots his.
Oh, Bodhi,
I
no.
see. You see Sam. I don't know what sand trooper she is, but I do know where she is on the Hammerhead Corvette.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she was also one of Saw's
Well, on the Hammerhead
troopers,
Corvette,
too.
she's
She
not
was
wearing
in
a
there, but you don't
helmet,
really see
right?
her.
That's her as her.
Right. It's the same thing in Saw's group. Because I got that picture signed at Boonton last year or this year, whatever it was.
And this is the other thing too that makes you question about his weapon. Why did the super rapid fire chain belt fed machine gun turn into a shotgun?
Mhm.
He has an ability to keep it. Oh, shit.
Yeah, he should be able to unload like hardcore with that thing.
Mm-hmm. And he did earlier in the movie.
Right.
Still want my base hot toy.
Someday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I may have to like start going down the rabbit hole of hot toys because have you seen the new Keaton Batman?
I saw it in person at San Diego Comic-Con. I took a photo and it has magnetic rolling eyes that you can position to look in different directions. But one eye was like this way
Ooh,
and
there
the
it
other eye was straight ahead. So it looked crazy. And it was on accident because it just wasn't set properly.
So
I got
Forrest
the photo-
Whitaker didn't play Batman?
Oh,
That's so cold.
ooh, it's
But
nice.
it just looks freaking
Sorry.
like wicked weird. Like it's a Mad magazine cover with like just Keaton's Batman being like cross-eyed and stuff. So
Keaton's Batman looking like Beetlejuice.
What me vengeance?
There you go.
and they reshot this one because she
Yeah,
goes
this
to the
whole end
end
scene.
and just having that TIE fighter pop up.
That was
Yeah.
the best scene in any trailer that was never in the movie.
We were talking about the
Yeah.
There's a lot
Come on, girl.
and stuff to get.
Because that's of course
twist.
all the way out there on the end of this random platform that goes to nowhere.
Put that one button out there. Couldn't have been a little closer.
It kind of
Like, why
reminds
is
me
it
of
way out there? Like,
It
kind of
why?
reminds me when Obi-Wan is in A New Hope is trying to take down the tractor beam and he's like,
And it's on the back side of the thing with absolutely no guardrail or platform.
OSHA. Once again, Star Wars is Bane,
And then let's put you in
Like-
helmets that you can't see out of with no hand railings. Like, how many people
Like
really
that,
died on the Death Star?
Oh,
When Krennic,
Questions.
Ooh, this is nice. When
Love
Krennic
it.
attacked
love
him,
the crashing. Yeah.
when Krennic
Boom.
attacked him, they one of the dark troopers got shot and immediately fell down because that door that opened into basically a 80-foot shaft was obviously, like Spencer said, not OSHA approved.
Here it goes.
Get it.
Oop,
Oh.
Get it, girl.
Wait up.
Run away. Run
No.
away. Run away.
Oh,
And now, of course, why didn't that do something when they blew up the entire button? Like, did
didn't
that
it
not
reset?
change? The power go
Like
through
that,
there?
Yeah, like I thought it was her realigning the satellite dish. So I thought like that would just make everything worse for her. But I
That
guess
should
not.
make the thing just like go into like sleep mode and it'd be just like rude.
well, she
Well,
already,
it's
she
when you
already put
shoot
the,
it, the door closes. That's isn't it? Or open. It does something.
Well, when you shoot something in Star Wars, it either opens or closes something 90% of the time, for sure.
well, she
Unless
already
it's a
put the 8-track tape into the
The
player.
8-track. Galen's Revenge.
The shield is up.
his accent so comes through in this speech.
Yeah, it totally does.
It's so into it. He's frothing almost at the mouth.
Ooh.
Oop.
Same shoulder.
Again, he was like so close. All you got to do is shoot her. It's like stop monologuing, get off your high horse.
And then he
Which
just
is
like
where,
collapses into his
Yeah.
cape, like,
And
like he's a
slow-mo.
rock,
There's
like a
the
hobbit.
slow-mo.
Which makes me think it's a reshoot, and it wasn't him.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Somebody else doing that
Yeah.
move.
There's a lot of production stuff where I was
So
like,
you take
body
out the
double,
ring.
body double.
Yes.
Take out the
Yeah.
ring.
One true ring.
Exactly.
Trying to
This
reproduce
upload, oh my God,
my
this
disc to get some Telemundo. I don't know. I love some
That's what they gotta go
Spanish
there.
soap operas, man.
Well, I love
Oh,
the
we
fact
should
that-
mention Admiral Radis, who's going to be receiving the plans. That's Stephen Stanton,
Yep.
who was terrific in the episode you guys watched on Monday as AP5.
Yes.
He's so eclectic in the voices that he does.
and also twin sons, Obi-Wan.
Yep, he's Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's also Tarkin in Clone Wars and Rebels. So he plays some really iconic characters.
And
Yeah.
super
He's
prevalent
just
and
terrific.
informative on the Twitter.
Yep.
Say that again?
He's very much involved on Twitter.
Oh yeah, and Facebook, and yeah, he's still very much in the fandom.
So-
And he was in Bad Batch too as Tarkin, so he's still in the Disney like family.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about the fact though, when Radish got the plans, it's the same plans that you see in A New Hope when they're in the briefing room.
But also, like, where are the Bothans that died to bring, like, you know?
No, that's
That
Return
was
of the Jedi.
that's the Death Star too.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Which we still have not seen a Bothan on screen. So of course every series when they come out, there's always like we're going to see a Bothan. I will not predict that. That's
That's
not
going to be
happening
like
anytime
the
soon.
hidden thing.
That'll show up in Mandalorian.
It's like the Tino in My So-Called Life. You just keep hearing about him, and he just never shows up on camera. So
Manny is my favorite Boston. You know, he's
Man.
Yes, Manny
Manny
Bothan.
Bothan.
Ha!
That was my shirt. It's in
Oh.
Chicago.
Old Spencer's joke.
Your shirt.
Hi, I had a shirt that the "Hello, my name is," and I had right Manny Bothan's on it.
And I love how Krennic's precious weapon is what does him in at the end.
Hey, Ryan.
Ew,
Karma's
he's just looking
a
at it like,
bitch.
dang.
I always was amazed by this shot where it was like, are they trying to hit what they hit on the ground, or were they trying to take out the tower, or are they trying to do both based on like reshoots and stuff? I was always kind of confused by that.
Yeah.
It's like a
And does
vibe.
the whole plan? Oh
Something
Jesus!
going
I
on.
forgot. I completely forgot that ship pops up and they can't escape temporarily.
Yeah. They run right into it.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, right there.
Death Star time to buzz the tower.
The Death Star is amazing that you know we finally get to see it sort of actually traveling at any real speed, because in A New Hope it's just sort of puttering around that planet for the most
Yeah.
part.
They say it makes the jump to light speed,
Yeah,
which
here
that's
it's
crazy.
in and out of light speed.
It's like a board cube.
Yeah, very much. so.
Yeah. I mean, it makes
I'm-
sense. You'd have to get out of like Geonosis to wherever else it's going to go. Like it has to travel at light speed, but it just seems insane to have something that big.
That big, just go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love how what irritated me the most watching this in the theater was like, wow, they're so chill about dying horribly.
I always thought they were gonna kiss. Like ever since the
Yeah.
elevator scene, I was like, okay, they're gonna make out. Like
Nope.
There's no kissing
There's no
except
romantic.
for Han and Leia and Padme
Yeah.
and Anakin and
There's no
Yeah.
romantic tension. with
Hera
these
Raylo.
two.
and Kanan.
They barely like each other.
Yeah, they tolerate each other.
Raylo.
Yeah. I will say
It's been
they're a good
proximity.
platonic male-female relationship where like I never suspected for a second that there was even the slightest bit of attraction between either
Agreed.
of them.
Yeah.
Which can we have more of that on screen? I think that's
Thank
a
you.
Doesn't
beneficial
always
thing
mean
to
that.
see.
Yeah.
right.
Not
So-
everything
so-
has to have romantic tension.
No,
No.
Notman, don't ask questions you don't want me to answer.
Uh-oh.
Comparing light speed and warp speed is completely separate kind of technology.
What about ludicrous speed?
Warp
Tell
is
them to stop.
folding and there's bubbles and yeah, you know.
Oh my god, here we go, you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is me running at ludicrous speed to get away
Yeah.
from Vader. That's
I
what would
love the
happen.
memes of this with Jerry Seinfeld and Kramer.
I got
Yes.
the mini disc. I'm ready to go. Let me get in. Come
I will
on.
say whoever the hallway scene was an ad, and I think it was Kathleen. Whoever decided that this needed to happen was spot on
This
because
was
it really
amazing addition.
This made Vader like We saw Vader the way we wanted to see him.
Solidified
Yeah.
Vader. What we needed
this-
there,
The
though, is
breathing.
his suit needed to be lit up,
Ah,
like he was in Obi-Wan.
It was like
Lights on his suit.
done.
So what's the consensus on Obi-Wan? Because I liked it, but I
I
feel like
enjoyed
now
it.
that we're weeks away from it, people are like, "Meh," you know.
I like.
I've enjoyed it. Like, I mean, there's flaws and there's things that bother me, like, when he was being dragged through the fire and that fire looked horrible.
Oh, I
But
loved
a
it.
lot of that kind of
the imagery, the graphics for the fire, I thought were
Lacking.
sort of lacking.
Oh, that's fair.
light
Yeah.
bulbs,
But I thought the irony of it was great.
well, that was also like they just, if you watch like the making of Obi-Wan, they just had a square of fire, and the rest wasn't. Obviously, they couldn't
digital.
light
Yeah.
you in on fire, but yeah.
I mean, we could.
No,
Yeah.
you can't.
Oh, please. How many times have we seen him naked on screen? I'm sure he's up for a fire stunt. Like
He's crazy.
He seems
might
pretty
do
like
it.
willing for whatever.
He
You
likes motorcycles.
you
He
could
do it.
light his brother looks enough like him. You could light his brother on
Oh my
fire.
god, you guys!
Obi-2.
Yes, you could light Obi-2 on fire.
didn't sign
It'd
up
be
for this.
fine.
That looks better than I remember.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's quick. It's quick and it's better than I remember. I remember when it first came out, I was like, oh,
They've
I've
also
really
probably
good.
been noodling at it since. So
I've heard a rumor they're gonna actually like fully re-edit She-Hulk before. Well, obviously when you put a character from TV to movie, there'll be better CGI for movie. But like there's a thought that there'll be a patch that will come and there'll be like digital upgrades on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they did it for like, now that we've got the better deep fake. I wouldn't mind them going back and doing the first Luke.
okay.
Well, anyways, we
Hey, Rogue
just
One.
finished Rogue One. Next week we'll find out. Well, you guys will find out whether or not all your predictions are wrong.
Yeah. Well, but they
gonna
haven't made their official predictions yet because
Ours is Monday.
on Monday, Rebels
That's a bit of
Revisited is
2
going to be the
Mondays to find
final
out.
word in Andor August, and then some. They'll get to make
Yep.
their predictions. The most recent, the closest to date with the most information going. So
Yeah.
We're
really at an advantage because the show comes out Wednesday the 21st. Our show Rebels Revisited is Monday the 19th, and they're going to drop at least a couple TV spots between now and
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So I think Ashley and I are going to probably
Right.
see a little more content, and then
Right.
we have to also filter down everything. And after now by the way, I recommend everyone watch the Unifying Force.
Yes.
The episode that they just did, because Catherine's thing right there about Mon Mothma and Andor right there was enough. Right, like I'm
Good
now
night,
in like
Sherry.
a spiral of like what the structure of the show is going to look like. So I think we have a lot of we have a long discussion plan for Monday. There's no watch along; it's just discussion on predictions.
We're just gonna
It's
talk
really
at
fun.
you for an hour.
That's
But it'll
great.
be
And
good discussion, I promise.
And I also want to, put over Mark here because this whole Andor August and then some was mapped out by Mark. So
Yes.
thank you very much. This was an endeavor that spanned the entire VCN. So
And it
thank
was so
you.
much fun.
Yeah, I had a great time doing it. Thank you guys again for obviously this show is what got me into Rebels and the Rebel show and everything. And it was fun to see you guys like tackle Clone Wars and Bad Batch and all the other pieces, and like you could see the puzzle coming together as to like what Disney is doing and where they pull from things. And I love that interconnectivity, but I also think Andor is going to be the one that has the least Easter eggs, the least fan service, and and like just organic
Is that an official
connections.
prediction?
Official prediction. We're not going to get, because we're not going to get like a lot of, like, I would love to see Enfys Nest, right? Like she's someone who's like early in the rebellion, like doing things, right? And I know you guys watched Solo a couple weeks ago. We're not going to see her. Like, I don't think they're going to do those types of things. So I think it's really going to feel like its own thing.
I think that's what we need at this point in Star Wars. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, I also think
that's
that
what we got. Go ahead.
No, I also think that we need to do something that's similar to Andor August for Ahsoka.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I was already thinking about that because there's like 12
He's like 5
episodes.
steps
of
ahead
Good,
of you.
good. Because I was about to say, hey,
Yeah.
Mark, this is your next
Yeah.
project.
There you
So
go.
Mark is
the
like 10
Clone
steps
Wars-
ahead of us all the time.
Yeah.
So
Once we get an official release date, the backing
Yeah.
into it, I think is easy enough. The big question for Ahsoka is like, we've already covered some Ahsoka episodes on Rebels. Like we should probably just watch them again. I think it makes sense as part of an Ahsoka watch along. But like Clone Wars is how many, what are there, 7 seasons times 20 episodes, and she's in half of them. So you really have to pick like the big Ahsoka episodes, not just the ones that she appears in. So you have to find, and then a couple of like hidden gems that you think like, you know, you might want to tack on, like and then you've got Mando live action and Boba live action. So you've got a nice mix.
Yeah.
The VCN could do a lot of good coverage for Ahsoka. For
And
sure.
I'm thinking you're going to have to incorporate Tales as well, just from the trailer.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge and very
Mhm.
important.
Yeah.
Even an episode, if we wanted to cross over with the book nerds, about talking about the novel.
Oh, I want to
Yeah.
come on for that show. So
So much
I
in
love the Ahsoka novel so
Mhm.
much. If you have room on your panel for me, I'd love to talk about the E.K.
Absolutely
Johnson
would.
book. I think it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
cool.
But
Done.
anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for this live action ending of Andor and then some. Don't forget on Monday night, we will conclude this series with Rebels Revisited. Next week, next Thursday, you will have Jeff and Dave as I will be at Hogwarts.
Nerd.
Yeah, I know you are, but what am I? Kicking off Andor next week, which I'm very, very excited. I'm actually very excited to see if there's anything around the parks or at Disney Springs while I'm there next week. That'd be kind of
I
cool
hope
to
there
check out
is.
as
That'd
well,
be
and
really
I'll
cool.
report back.
Neat if they threw something down at like the AMC or something over in the
Yep.
spring.
Now, even in downtown Disney, where they had that giant sandcastle for Kenobi when it came out outside the trading post.
Yeah.
If they did something with Andor in that same spot, Jeff, you could probably like check it out and let us know.
But I actually also have a free day next Wednesday, so maybe there might be something I'd be able to, if they have anything at Disney Springs, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Release day. But I'll report back from there. Hopefully, maybe I'll do some live stuff. I might grab some red kyber crystals and see if the red kyber crystals. But we'll fingers crossed. But anyway, thank you all for joining us very much. We greatly appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Have a great Andor next week. And from all of us here at the Virtual Cantina Network, may the force be with you.
Bye, guys.